It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings. Yes, I'm in a festive mood. You should be in a festive mood as well, as the Grizzlies have finally broken through. They end a 4-game losing streak, just their second win in their last 9 games, but they win. They had to win, and they win in dramatic fashion. Ja Morant coming through in Miami for the Grizz. We will talk about that on the program, along with everything else that's happening locally, regionally, nationally, around the world, in the world of sports. We welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings on this Friday, April 4th, 2025. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you, broadcasting live. We're live and local. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Pool time right around the corner. And right now you can get in line for your pool installation. They got great deals on that. Plus liners starting at $2.99. All pool accessories up to 20% off. They even have 5-6-person hot tubs starting at $69.99. You can't beat the deals. Mention this ad. Mention this ad. Get free installation. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's Family Leisure. Okay, here's the weather. Right now, it is 59 degrees, but it's going to warm up. It's going to warm up to 84, mid-80s today. Right now, walking around outside from my car to the studio, not too bad. Wasn't raining, felt good. There is the chance of showers this morning and then scattered thunderstorms developing during the afternoon hours. Again, the high of 84. Chance of rain, though, 50%, so you may not get it where you are. Tonight, rain showers. 69 degrees, numerous thunderstorms. That chance of rain increases to 70%. And then we're looking at pretty much rain throughout the day on Saturday with a high of 73. And then on Sunday, there is still a chance of rain, but it looks like sun more than rain. About a 50% chance of rain, but a high of only 50 degrees. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news as far as the weather is concerned, but you knew it was coming. Coming up on the program today, John Varlas will join us as he does every Friday at 7:25 from the Daily Memphian, their award-winning prep reporter. Find out what's going on in the prep world. Wrote a good story about Christian Brothers High School basketball. Brad Luckett taking over for his father, Bubba. We'll discuss that and many other things. At 8:05, Brevin Knight will join us, Grizzlies television analyst, to talk some Grizzlies. At 9:05, we'll play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Give you a chance to win a great prize package. And then at 9:25, you know him, you love him, you can't live without him. Brandon Lang will handicap the national semifinals tomorrow in basketball. As we have the Final Four, we'll discuss that on the program today. Got some other college basketball coaching news, some Major League Baseball, college baseball news we'll get to. All that coming up on the program today. Of course, we'll take your calls and your texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. And I think we got a new theme song for Ja Morant. Let her rip. Call Ja Morant. They called him last night, Eli, for the game-winning shot in Miami.
Yep, that's. It has been a locked-in Ja over the last I don't know how long, with a little gap in there when he wasn't playing. But he plays hero. He defies the NBA a little bit. He gets motivated by the boos, and boy, a game that they had to have, and he came through. And I like the fact that he even bounced the ball on the rim a little while to build the suspense.
Sure.
You know, you don't want to just swish it. You want to make sure you build the suspense, let everybody sit on the edge of their seat just for a moment to decide whether it's going to go in or not. And then it falls in. But huge shot, huge win, and it's good to have Ja on your side.
Elijah, I think everybody needed that. Not only the Grizzlies, but I think the city needed that.
No, in a major way, especially with after all these storms and after all this gloominess, much needed. So big shout out to our guy number 12 for coming through for the city.
I think he has accepted that role of villain. I think he kind of likes it, that
He
he's
said he
the
likes
bad
it.
guy. He said it. Okay, so there you go. It just seems like he's thriving now, especially since the coaching change. Is it me, or has anybody else noticed how well he has played since returning to the lineup the day after Taylor Jenkins was let go? I'm just throwing it out there. The hamstring injury doesn't seem to be a factor. He has played a lot of games. He's logged a lot of minutes and downed a lot of donuts, little chocolate donuts. They've been on my. Sorry. So yes, he is. He's playing at another level, and he needs to play at another level. He has to be the star that we know he is capable of being and has been. But last night it wasn't easy. They never are. They beat Miami 110-108. Once again, a slow start, but a strong finish this time. They improved to 45-32. So we'll give you the updated standings here in just a few moments. But Ja wins it with that step-back 9-footer over a lunging 7-footer in Kel'el Ware. He ends up with 30 points, 11 of 22 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He got some help. Des Bain didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he did a lot of things good. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. I continue to say Scottie Pippen Jr. is very, very valuable for this team. I think maybe some who didn't think so probably have changed their mind. Junior comes off the bench for 17 points, 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, adds 7 assists. Zach Edey, more implemented into this Tomas Isolo offense, goes for 8 but 13 rebounds as he was battling Kel'el Ware a lot during that game. So again, a lot of players chipping in, but John Morant being the stud that he needs to be. And again, congratulations to Tomas Isolo, his first win as the Grizzlies coach.
Yeah, good for him. Hopefully he can get number 2 tomorrow night in Detroit. That would be a huge win if they could get that, which certainly will not be easy. Then you get a chance to get Charlotte to end the road trip. And, it is so tightly compacted right now in that jumble in the West between numbers, really number 4 and 8, that everyone is important, and that was a huge one to get last night, and now hopefully can continue. They have been great against Eastern Conference teams this year. Hopefully that can continue throughout this road trip.
Last night, Golden State went to L.A., beat the Lakers 123-116, so they continue their winning ways since the acquisition of Jimmy Butler. And then Minnesota beat Brooklyn, as expected, 105-90, although there was a scare when Anthony Edwards went down with what was an apparent leg injury, and then he returned to the game pretty quickly. But an updated look at the standings in the West. You have right now Denver in 3rd, a half a game up on the Lakers, who are in 4th, a game and a half up on the Warriors, who are on 5th. But the Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves, tied for 6th, are only a half a game behind Golden State and a game and a half behind the Lakers. And then a half a game behind Memphis and Minnesota, the Clippers, who have only played 76 games as opposed to Memphis and Minnesota, who have played 77. They are a half a game behind them. So you do the math, and this is just crazy. 2.5 games separate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams.
Yeah, it is going to be a crazy final week of the regular season with a lot of matchups amongst those teams. You know, the Lakers with that loss last night. The Lakers have a 2-game set at Oklahoma City Sunday and Tuesday. So the Lakers by no means are safe in this whole thing. It's...
Well,
the Lakers,
for your point, Oklahoma City's 3 games up now on Cleveland for the best record in the NBA. So by that time, could they be have already clinched? When is it coming up?
It's Sunday and Tuesday. I mean, they'll have played one other game between now and then.
Just one game? Okay, because they only have 6 games left. They're up 3. If they win one and Cleveland loses, they're up 4. So I don't know. I mean, there could be one of those 2 games where they rest guys. It could be. May not be, but it could possibly be.
But you got some back-to-backs, including Golden State, who has to play again tonight. In there, it's obviously the Grizzlies have the game remaining against Minnesota, and a game remaining against Denver in their schedule. It's going to be a wild final week of the regular season with all of those teams trying to sort out what order they finish in. But huge win for Golden State last night. To go into LA and get another win there. And they just continue to climb their way up the standings. And they very well could end up with home court advantage in the first round before all is said and done.
Golden State has won 4 straight, so they're one of the hottest teams in the association. Of course, nobody's as hot as Oklahoma City. It's put together another long winning streak. They are 11 straight wins. It's just incredible what they are doing. But yes, Golden State, since the acquisition of Jimmy Butler, have been a different team. And Steph Curry has taken it up a notch. His definitely goes to 11. The stars have to star. That's what they have to do. They have to shine. And at least for last night, John Morant and his star shined. Now, there was a little extra in the giddy-up after the news that came down earlier in the day? Possibly. That news was that the NBA was only going to issue warnings to Ja and Buddy Hield, as well as the 2 teams, the Grizzlies and the Warriors, for the gun gestures they made Tuesday night here in Memphis at FedEx Forum. The league ruled the celebrations were not intended to be violent in nature, but inappropriate, and they should refrain. Now, if he does it again, just by habit, I wonder what the league will do. But it's interesting because you and I, Michael Cole on the show yesterday, many people that I follow on Twitter said, look, this is much ado about nothing. I know he has a track record. I know he's gotten in trouble. He's been suspended. But come on. This wasn't that bad. What are you going to do, suspend these guys? So I wonder what will happen now after they're told by the league it's inappropriate, you need to refrain. But there's other people out there, just crazy talk, that Josh should be suspended for the rest of the year and that he never learns. I heard Wilbon yesterday. He didn't say that about the suspension, but he just shook his head and he says he never learns. Now, that's something you can question. But Jay Mariotti, remember Jay Mariotti? He's still around. I heard this from Wolo yesterday. He's called for the banishment of him for the rest of the season, which is maybe just somebody trying to get their name back out there and say something that's just ludicrous. But there's some people that believe it's just another in the long line of issues that he's had. In any case, the league didn't see it that way. Ja went out there, played with the chip on his shoulder, heard the boos from the Heat fans. I think that's going to become something more commonplace now. And he showed that even with people not in his corner, that he can come through and maybe even come through better than before. It's one game. It doesn't change the season, I don't think, but it could kickstart him and get him into that next gear, which is, I think, the whole idea that Zach Kleiman had in making the in-season move of firing Taylor Jenkins to kickstart the team. Then they would subsequently go out there and lose 3 straight games to really good opponents. Miami's not a great team, but they've been red hot. They had a 6-game winning streak. They had just beaten the Celtics the night before. So you could say, all right, they played back-to-back and all that stuff. But the Grizzlies won, fair and square.
Yeah, the whole situation with that, because again, obviously, Ja did it last night. It may not, I don't know if they consider that the exact same thing he did with the Warriors. I guess he didn't aim it at the Heat's bench. I don't know. I don't know what the warning means. I don't know if the warning was just, hey, don't do it, or like if you do it again, there may be more severe punishment, because obviously he went literally that night and did it, or something similar to it. I mean, that's what he does when he makes threes. So I'm not sure. I think one of the stories that somebody wrote about it said that I guess they had asked the league something about it after he did it last night, and the league said they had no comment at this time. But again, I mean, if the warning is just, hey, don't do that, or try not to do that, so what? I guess, again, I don't think that's going to matter to him. Again, if they said, like, hey, if you do it again, there could be some severe penalties, and he goes out and does it like that, well, that's dumb on his part. I don't know. Again, I think it's crazy that it's even a thing at all. But, again, and obviously John doesn't really care because he went and did it again last night. So, whatever.
Well, again, the track record is what hurts, but players have done this over the years. The 6 shooters in the air after a big shot, the whole deal. This wasn't Buddy Hield pointing to him like, I'm going to shoot you after the game, and then Ja coming back. Yeah, I'm going to kill. No, come on, man. Let's use common sense here.
It isn't intended to be violent. Oh, really? It's not. Okay, I thought maybe that them pointing a finger at somebody meant like they were actually going to kill them. Like, I mean, really? No kidding. It's not meant to be violent. Like, come on. Like, really? We have this. These are the conversations we have to have. Like, oh, it's okay because it wasn't meant to be violent. No kidding. It's a finger.
I remember. There was a comedian. I can't remember.
Kids have been using finger guns for as long as the world's been around. I don't think it was ever meant like, hey, wait, I don't know. I think my kid just actually, I think he wants to kill that other kid because he just pointed a finger gun at him.
I remember a comedian. I can't remember which comedian it was, but the comedian, part of the shtick was the greetings and everything. And they say something like I always enjoyed the old blink in the gun. You know, the old, you're blinking at somebody like, hey, how you doing? There's the little gun. They're not talking about, like, mowing you down. Now, in movies, in cinema, I think there have been some times where they've shown that, and they show the gun, like, I'm coming back to kill you. I can almost guarantee, I don't want to ever say anything 100%, but, yeah, I don't think that was the intention. So, with Adam Silver, it's using common sense, but also he doesn't want to have his authority questioned. And let's not forget the problems that Ja had, the situations that he's been in before, the one-on-one meeting he had with Adam Silver, who laid down the law, I'm sure. And you don't want to be a fool when it's all said and done. Now, this to me doesn't mean he's foolish. He let him slide. He should have suspended him. No, he should not have. You have to use common sense. But again, you're walking on a thin line when you're Ja, Guns, and Adam Silver. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, he may do it naturally. It's just a habit. But as you said, Eli, the response was, it's inappropriate and you should refrain. They didn't say you better refrain or the next time you're suspended for 2 games. It's just, you better. If you can refrain, try not to do it. Well, again, he may have done it last night. So
he may have done. I mean, I don't.
Oh, I didn't see it personally.
I don't know
moment.
how they define exactly, but I mean that looked like the exact same thing to me. Again, he didn't point it at I guess maybe at the Heat bench. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know if where you point your imaginary gun matters.
I think it does
in the NBA's mind. I don't know if that. Hope you don't point it at the crowd. That would really upset them if you were threatening.
Eli,
fans.
you're tongue in cheek, but I'm telling you that where you point it makes a difference. I think to them, you point it to a fan or at a fan or a player. I think that makes the difference.
But I guess we'll see because as soon as I saw it last night, I was like, oh God, this, and sure enough.
I missed it somehow.
Then on X and everywhere else, there goes the video up of Ja's doing it again. Ja doesn't care, blah, blah, blah. I don't, again, in Ja's post-game interview, and he talked about being motivated by the boos of the fans and all that stuff. He, he is embracing the role of villain. And that's why, if that's going to lead him to making game-winning shots and all this, whatever you need to motivate yourself to be the Ja that we have had over the last, again, I don't know how many games going back to before the injury, everything else. The guy is locked in and, doing jaw-type things. And when he's doing that, that usually leads to the Grizzlies being a lot better. So, yes. Hell, maybe the home fans need to start booing. If the booing is going to motivate him like that, hell, start booing him at home. I don't care, whatever. Just keep getting this Ja Morant going into the postseason, and it will be a lot better.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, if he's the star that everybody thinks he is, he should be playing like this. It's not just he shouldn't find a 3, 4, or 5, 6 game stretch and play like this. He should be playing like this all the time. Number two, as I said earlier, miraculously, the hamstring, 100%. He hasn't, people tell me that after that first game that he played when he returned on that Saturday night, the day after the firing of Taylor Jenkins, that there was a little hitch in it, in his giddy up, and there was, he had tweaked it. Look, I haven't seen anything. All I've seen is that guy go full force.
He was clearly limping in those first two
Well,
games.
I don't know. I mean, he might limp for show. I mean, the guy is I know he's injury prone, but he's come out since that firing. He's played in every game that the team has had. He's played a lot of minutes, and he's played really, really well. The other thing is, just playing devil's advocate, don't do it. Avoid it. Avoid anything that's controversial. Don't do something different. The whole phone thing is great. That's why we opened up the show with a little blondie and call me. T. Moran on Twitter. Call me. Call me. Do the phone.
I wish I apologize for not remembering or not knowing who it was. I didn't see who it was on X that posted that Ja doing the phone sign after the game winner. The league is investigating who he was calling.
No, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of jokes about that, but.
That's funny stuff. That's funny because they might be. I don't know. Maybe the league will come out and say, we have investigated. We found out it was not actually a real phone call, so it's okay. He is okay to do that because it was not an actual phone call that he was making,
nor an actual phone that he was using. But no, I mean, again, you want to avoid anything. Do the phone thing. All right.
He likes that, but that
he likes it.
Ja likes being defiant.
I know,
that's
but
the whole thing.
But all it takes is Adam Silver not wanting to have somebody that is an employee of the league be defiant. Go against what he says on all that crap. So, but again, this leaves a gray area with the way the NBA responded to this. Inappropriate, should refrain. Not you have to refrain, not that there will be a penalty if you don't refrain, but it's inappropriate, you should refrain. They did the smart thing,
pretty soon,
but they left it gray.
We are no longer going to call attempts of you can no longer call it shooting the basketball. We're going to come up with a different name. You do not take shots in a game because that just seems a little too much gun-like, so we're gonna you now take attempts, and any team that refers to it as a shot attempt, well, that's the way you're gonna be fined.
Hey, I'm not going to get political here, but in the world that we have lived in here recently with PR, I wouldn't be surprised with any of those type of things. But certainly, what he did the other night to me was nothing big, and the league saw it the same way. So we'll see as we move forward. To me, if you're not sticking that finger in the face of somebody and pulling the old gun or doing it to a fan, I think it's fine. We have seen it throughout the history of sports with guys making big shots or whatever the sport may be. The old guns ablaze and the 6-shooters pull it out from your holster and start waving it in the air. I mean, it's always been a part of the fabric of celebrations in the world of sports. We'll take a break. When we come back, John Varlos will join us from the Daily Memphian. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Well, there's some things about the Rendezvous I'm going to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to doors. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. But we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear. Please listen carefully for our menu listing. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of the mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous. Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
It's tax season, and by now, I know we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Here's another 20%. That's the overall increase in identity theft-related tax fraud in 2024 alone. Wow. But it's not all grim news. Here's a good number, 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock has a U.S.-based restoration specialist. They'll work to fix it. Backed by another good number, the $1 Million Protection Package. In fact, restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't face identity theft and financial losses alone. There's strength in numbers. And with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection for tax season and beyond. Join now, save up to 40% on your first year with the promo code HERD. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com. The promo code is HERD, H-E-R-D, for 40% off. Terms apply.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough from everyone home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, Certainteed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. So far, so good as far as serious accidents go. Now, we still got some storm damage cleanup that's underway out here, especially over in parts of Arkansas, as it builds I-40 East here at the Hernando de Soto Bridge, coming over from West Memphis. Had some debris cleanup a little bit earlier on Billmore Parkway. That should be wrapped up here in the next few minutes, just past Winchester. If your yard needs a little bit of help, you want to make it greener, healthier, call Lawn Solutions today, 867 877-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:30 the time.
Got a text from Keith here on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line, and he says, Chi Rodriguez had a sword, but he never stabbed anyone with it, to my knowledge. Yeah, I don't remember for sure. I don't think that Chi ever actually, or I don't believe the PGA Tour ever said, Chi, you need to stop that. We're tired of you threatening people with your sword.
They encouraged swashbuckling back then, I think. So, yeah, Chi never did, as far as we know. Time now for John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas. Daily check out John's prep sports coverage and much more at dailymemphis.com. John is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis, where pros and preps go to get their shot on Shoot 360 Memphis. Now here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
He is the award-winning prep reporter for the Daily Memphian, but so much more. He's John Varlas. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas, and JV joins us every Friday. He is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis. Good morning, John.
Yes, indeed. Lots of talk this morning about three-pointers and three-point shooting, and there's no better place to get better at your three-point shooting than Shoot 360 Memphis. Two locations to serve, one in Collierville, 85 Market Street, and the new one there in Cordova, Big Orange Road, at the former Team Thad building. And it's, the same great people, the same great high-tech technology at both facilities, the same technology used by NBA stars like Steph Curry. Klay Thompson has used this at the Warriors facility along with Curry. Kyrie Irving has used this technology. Some of the very biggest names in basketball. And, of course, Greg, I heard you mention the other day, Memphis own Thad Young is behind this as well. Tremendous NBA career Thad Young has had. So there's great people behind this, great people that have used this, and they will get you better in the game at the game of basketball. And a surprise announcement, you can now mention the promo code JV2025 when you call and make your when you call for your subscription, when you call and
for the membership,
for your membership. Thank you, sir. When you call for your membership, mention promo code JV2025, and they'll take care of you on that as well. So lots of good things happening with Shoot 360 Memphis. They're going to be real busy this summer. Lots of tournaments going on throughout the spring and summer. It's just going to be a fun place with lots of activity all through the off season. So give them a call, 901-316-5500 in Collierville, 901-779-3176 in Cordova. They will take care of you.
Very nice. Promo code JV2025.
I have my first promo code.
Very nice.
2025. How about that?
Very nice. All right, John. So I know with all this,
it's almost like that's the year.
It's funny how that works out.
Eli's looking at me a little skeptically on that. Huh?
No, he's just making a joke. So the weather obviously has wreaked havoc on the schedule. We'll talk about that in a second. But you like to get something off your chest normally to start our segment. What do you have this week as far as a bone to pick?
Yeah, and this is going to tie into to some of the great baseball activity we saw earlier in the week before the rains came. But and I'm going to offer this bone just as the form of a public service announcement, because I don't want to come down too hard on people that don't know everything. Especially young people that are, haven't grown up in maybe the culture of baseball and things of that nature. So we get to, so we're at Collierville. Yeah, Collierville. We're at Collierville Monday night, and they got the, star pitcher on the mound, Ari Bethea, kid going to Tennessee. Really good pitcher, right? And I will preface this by saying, Greg Gaston, that I am 57 years old and have not seen a no-hitter in any form in my entire life, all the way through. I mean,
in person,
right?
Yeah, really?
Well, anywhere, not on TV, not anywhere.
Really?
Not
okay.
in high school, not in college, not in the majors.
Wow.
Not from. I mean, obviously, I've seen the alerts, and you turn on and see the last three outs or whatever. But I've never seen a no hitter from start to finish.
I would have just guessed you've seen many at the high school level.
No, I've never seen one. So that's why I preface my comment by saying, in 57 years, I've never seen a no hitter. So and here we're getting to the bone now. So we get so we're in the bottom.
That's the meat. Here's the bone.
Right.
It's like a steak. You eventually get to that bone unless you got a fillet.
So we're in the press box because it's a little chilly Monday night. We're all, there's about 10 of us in the press box. We get to the bottom of the 7th inning. High school games are 7 inning. Collierville's the whole team. Ari Bethe's got a no-hitter through 6. We get to the bottom of the 7th inning, and the kid, and I don't know his name, and again, this is just a PSA for young people. It's not blame. The kid who's doing the live stream, he opens the door and says to the guy doing the PA, he says, "Does Ari have a no-hitter going?"
Uh-oh.
And I just screamed inside because I knew at that point exactly what was going to happen. And for the people that are like, JV, what are you talking about? You don't, if there's a no hitter going, you don't mention it in the dugout. You don't mention it in the press box. You don't jinx it, right? You're with me, right, Greg?
I hear what you're saying.
I'm in the right here, right? I know sometimes you don't agree with my bones, but I'm in the right here, right?
Oh no!
You don't mention the no-hitter.
You try to avoid as much as you can as a broadcaster
right.
as well.
But this, it was just the poor kid, and again, he's young, he doesn't know, so I'm not blaming him. But he said Ari's got a no-hitter going, right? and the guy looks at the scoreboard and says, "Yeah, I think so." And I'm just dying inside. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I know what's going to happen. And of course, what happens does happen. He gets the first 2 outs. He gets 2 strikes. He gets 2 strikes on the last batter, and the batter flares one between first and second and right field, and it just plops there in no man's land. And there's the no hitter. And I swear, I was more upset than Ari Bethay was. He took it in stride. He's cool with it. He pitched a great game, but I was more upset than he was. I was more upset than Coach Munir was. I was upset.
So our authorities looking for you now that you beat the hell out of that kid after the game?
I am still stunned.
I really wanted to. I really wanted to see it, and he pitched a great game and got so close. And he's pitched a no hitter before. See, he pitched a no hitter 2 years ago when he was a sophomore. He pitched a no hitter actually at the state tournament, but it was during spring fling, and I was running from here to there, and I got there at the very end. Again, I didn't see it. I just got there in time to interview him and get some quotes. So I've never seen one, and that
honestly amazed me because as many times like you get some of these dominant high school pitchers, the guys just can't hit. Like I would have assumed you've seen many high school no hitters through the years. Like
how about softball? Have you seen a softball no hitter?
No, I don't think I ever
can't
have.
believe it.
I don't think I ever have.
I've broadcast like 4 softball no hitters and 2 or 3 baseball no hitters.
So yeah, at the
high school level.
So it's just a PSA. I'm not mad at I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I really, 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 really wanted to see that no hitter. And again, we get to the last batter, 2 strikes, and he just flares one in.
Was there any reaction in the press box?
You know what? I was screaming so loudly in my head I couldn't even tell you at that point.
You were in your own world.
I was.
So that kid, what's his name again? Bethay?
Ari Bethay. He's going to Tennessee. Really talented.
And then isn't there the day kid from Houston going to Tennessee as well?
Yeah, there's lots of baseball talent.
2 pitchers, right?
Yeah, and again, and this is kind of segue what I wanted to talk about because we had some great pitching in town on Monday night. I mean, not just Ari. Finn Waters at Briarcrest, so he pitched a 5-inning perfect game. It was only 5 innings because of the run rule. So he pitched a 5-inning perfect game against St. Benedict. So perfect game, 15 outs. He struck out 14 batters.
See, that again, that's why I would think that you've seen no hitters because like there's guys out there like that, like they'll just face teams that cannot hit them, like they just. But
so he's on Monday. Ari Bethay's on Monday. Then at North Point, KL Farr is pitching against FACS. KL Farr is going to Southern Miss again, and a really good player. KL Farr pitches a complete game, 1 hitter, and strikes out 17 batters. He strikes out 17 out of the 21 batters. We get all 3 of those pitching performances on one night.
Wow.
17 strikeout, one hitter, a 5-inning perfect game with 14 strikeouts, and then a no-hitter that lost on the very last pitch of the game.
So if you were there for the 5-inning perfect game, would you count that as you've seen a...
I mean, it's an official game because of the rules. Briarcrest was ahead by more than 10 runs, so it's mercy rule. I mean, you count it. I'm a purist, so I wouldn't.
So you would say if you were at that game, you would still say you've never seen a no hitter.
I would say that, yeah, because to me it's got to be 7 or 9 innings. Not to take anything away from Finn Waters, because he's a great pitcher.
Yeah, this is your personal record book. You would still say you've never seen a no-hitter.
And in the record book, it will go down as a perfect game because it's an official game. But no, I've never seen one. I wanted it so bad. I mean, it's crazy. I wanted it worse than Collierville did. I really did, and it just didn't happen. It's just so sad.
When I lived, the one no-hitter I did in baseball was in the state tournament. I think it was a state semifinal game, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then when I was in Iowa, and used to do softball games, one of the pitchers there, she threw back-to-back no-hitters.
Yeah.
She was just like, nobody could hit her. They get like softball, you also get those pitchers in softball, like literally people can't hit them. And so they just go out there and they can pitch every single game, so it doesn't matter.
So
like,
a doubleheader, she did.
No, it was one
day after the other.
I think it was like the next day.
Okay.
But like those things, like you just, like, I think again for you covering as much high school, like I would just assume you've seen so many. I would have guessed you've seen at least like 10 no-hitters.
No, I haven't, and maybe it's because I try to pick a good competitive game to cover. Typically you might get a no-hitter in a situation where it's not competitive. I mean, Bartlett's a really good team, and Arie did well to pitch the game he did against Bartlett. Bartlett's a solid team. But with Briarcrest and St. Benedict, for example, I mean, that's just a little bit of a mismatch in terms of talent when you can run a kid like Finn Waters out there. Finn Waters is committed to Texas. Like you said, Bethea and Day are committed to Tennessee. K.L. Farr is going to Southern Miss. We've got some great pitching talent in our area this year, and I. Those guys really showed their stuff on Monday night.
John, let me ask you this. I do a bunch of the Tigers games. Memphis Tigers games got a doubleheader today. They moved it up to noon. I don't know if they'll get in. Hopefully they will, to start a series with South Florida. And Memphis has several players from the area, good players. Hunter Goodman obviously played at Memphis, played at Arlington High School, is off to a great start with the Colorado Rockies. My question is there more baseball talent than any sport, including basketball, in the Memphis area?
There's a ton of baseball talent for sure. I mean, honestly, Greg, there's a lot of football talent in this area.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, is there more baseball?
I mean, I don't know if there's more. That's what I'm saying.
Can you imagine those guys all went to Memphis?
Yeah, I mean, and that would be something. But it's hard, when you got Tennessee coming after you.
Oh, of course.
When you've got Texas coming after you.
Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
I mean, and some of the batters, Ryan Mitchell at
Arkansas.
Houston, he's committed to where's he committed? Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Doty at Lausanne. He's going to go play at Ole Miss. So, when some of these schools come after you,
right,
it's hard to say no to them. But yeah, I'm maybe I'm being a bit too precise, but I mean, there's a ton of baseball talent in town, not just in the senior class, but in some of the younger classes as well.
Just look at this year
and they're frankly always has been. I mean,
and in all sports, but it's a big area with a lot of athletes. But the 24-25 scholastic year, so going back to the fall with football, basketball, now baseball, how many basketball players are going to big-time programs this year in the class of 25 as opposed to these baseball players you just rattled off the top of your head?
Yeah, and you're right, and I think the answer to that is not many, and so much of that has to do with transfer portal and things like that. And we've talked about that in the past. There's kids around here who years ago would be getting those scholarships. They're just not anymore, and that's through no fault of their own. But with baseball, it's a little different. And but yeah, no, we're blessed with some incredible baseball talent, and just to have 3 pitching performances like that on one night is just incredible. And then Tuesday night, Ty Holman from Christian Brothers goes out and pitches a 6 inning one hitter against MUS and strikes out 14 in 6 innings. So I mean, it's just amazing pitching this week, and thankfully we got two days worth of games in there, and we got to see some really great baseball this week.
Apparently, not a good week to be a hitter in the high school ranks in Memphis. My gosh.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of talent, and it's going to be really interesting to see how these kids pan out. And somebody like Arie Bethea, the guy in the press box, I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but I have no reason to doubt him. He said there were a couple of major league scouts at the game Monday night. I know there's been scouts over at Houston as well to check out Ryan Mitchell and Chandler Day and those guys. So it may be a situation too where these guys don't even go to college if they like where they're drafted enough. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on. When's the major league draft in June? I think it's always in June.
I believe it's June.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping an eye on that in June as well. But yeah, some of these guys might not even make it to college if they're if the finances line up good enough for them.
Right.
Although now the finances are better in college. So those guys, if you're not, now you can even be more like selective of I'll go to college rather than that, because now the money you can make at the college level, especially going to those SEC schools.
Yeah, there's definitely some good options for these kids.
Oh, no question about it. We're seeing a lot of it in basketball where guys who maybe are fringe but possibly can make it in the NBA, certainly can make it around the world and get paid nice, healthy paychecks in other countries, but still have that opportunity to come back for another year to college. If they're going to get paid, which they are right now, they're certainly coming back. So it is a trend that has absolutely changed. Speaking of Christian Brothers High School, ran into Jason Mott, their coach, the other day, and I asked him, I said, how's the team? He said, we're okay.
No,
we're okay.
He's got a good team. When did you run into him?
I think it was last weekend at his one of his children and my grandson or granddaughter, one of them was playing. There's so many games, they were playing over at St. Louis. So, yeah, I run into him every once in a while. But speaking of Christian Brothers, when we come back, you wrote a story about Christian Brothers, but it's not about baseball. It's about basketball and a changing of the lucket. We will talk about that when we return. Do want to tell you folks about one of our great sponsors. That's Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. For over 122 years, they've been putting smiles on people's faces. The madness is almost over. It'll wrap up Monday with the national championship, but Dinstall's has all the sweet treats ready for your watch parties. Cashew Crunch, Turtlettes, the chocolate basketballs that they have, all kinds of great sweet treats. But the chocolate-covered fruits, nothing like it. Strawberries, grapes, pineapples, all covered with that delicious Dinstall's chocolate, that fondant. It's just unreal. If you haven't had Dinstall's, and I'm not just saying this because they're a sponsor, I think it's some of the best chocolate I've ever had in my life. That's not hyperbole. That is the truth. You could send these candies and chocolates anywhere in the United States. They'll ship them for you. Just go ahead over to one of your favorite Dinstall stores and ask about their shipping capabilities. There are 5 locations. They are in Collierville, in Germantown, downtown Memphis, in Laurelwood, that's in East Memphis, and Pleasant View, where they make the candy. So for the big dance, for the Final Four, for the Natty on Monday, or for any sporting event or any get-together, it's Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Too. I am not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that April is just one of the great months to sit outside at Central Barbecue.
I didn't say there weren't other great months to sit outside at Central Barbecue locations.
And there are a lot of them, and they all have outdoor seating.
I don't think you had to interrupt me for that. What I'm saying is April is particularly great because it's the first month where we can sit outside in Memphis.
In South Haven?
Stop interrupting me. I was going to say South Haven.
No, you weren't. You always forget about South Haven.
I resent that.
Hey, I produce these. You want me to back the tape up?
No. It's still the best month to sit outside at Central Barbecue.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a Mother Pheasant Plucker, I Plug Mother Pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Five-Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for Join the University of Memphis Athletic Department as they host the inaugural Power of Girls in Sports Clinic sponsored by FedEx. Held in the Lori Bolton Family Basketball Center Saturday, April 12th, girls 3rd through 6th grade will join Tiger female student athletes and staff to learn life skills, build confidence, and develop a healthy lifestyle while participating in sports. Admission is free and the deadline to sign up is Monday, April 7th. Availability limited to the first 200 girls. Sign up at GoTigersGo.com/PGSC.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Sports. Fun, exciting, friendly, comfortable, all TVs, 24 tabs for all family. We have 360 music, video, and upscale venue, patio seating, and special online ordering, and you found all the sports in one right place. Yours Box, Sports Bar Grill, Lakewood Town Square, Highway 70. Check this out for weekend music at the Yours Box.
Showboats fans, the boats are back in action with a 1:30 kickoff on Saturday, April 12th at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium as they take on the Houston Roughnecks in a special Memphis wrestling-themed game, the Showboats Showdown. Come see all the football action of the UFL and enjoy wrestling matches pregame and a special halftime main event. More football, more wrestling, more Showboats. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
Now back to Sports 56 Morning on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. John Varlas joining us. John, you wrote about the Luckets, and we knew the passing of the torch was going to happen as Brad was going to take over for his father, Bubba, at Christian Brothers High School and the boys basketball program. But I guess now official that the season is over. So you wrote about the Luckets.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the timing was this week specifically, but yeah, congrats to Brad Luckett. It's officially official. He'll be taking over for his dad, Bubba Luckett, who's retiring. He already has coached his last game. He's dealing with some health issues, and we pray for Coach Luckett on that, and hope he hope for the best in that. But yeah, Brad's taken over. 2008 graduate of Christian Brothers, former player, longtime assistant under his father, and I think he's going to do really well. I think he's going to continue the fine legacy that Christian Brothers has. Always one of the most competitive programs, not just around here locally, but statewide. The brothers have always been a basketball powerhouse for as long as I can remember, and I think Brad's going to keep that thing rolling, and I think he's also going to find a way to kind of put his own stamp on it as well. So good luck to Brad Luckett, and the worst kept secret in local high school basketball is now officially official. So
how long? Bubba was the head coach for how many years?
He was the head coach for 35 years. Prior to that, he was an assistant for 7 years. So he was there on the sidelines for 42 years.
Wow.
He played there, obviously. So basically the last 50 years of Coach Luckett's life where he wasn't at Christian Brothers was the 4 years where he played at Memphis State. He played at Christian Brothers, then he went to Memphis State for 4 years, and then it was back to Christian Brothers, and that's where he's been ever since, essentially.
And Brad, you said graduated 2008.
Yeah.
So he's
35,
mid-30s.
Yeah, mid-30s.
Around my son. I wonder who went to school with
so
Greg.
If he could put 35 years on the, could they get 70 straight years of Luckett's as head coach at Christian Brothers High School?
And that's the thing. I joke with some of these younger coaches sometimes, and they joke back with me. Like Coach Reel at Bartlett. For example, he's a successful coach. Lots of success. He's been doing it for a long time, and again had a ton of success. But I can't imagine him, and I don't think he can imagine. And we've talked about this before. coaching 35 years, coaching 50 years like Jerry Peters.
I mean, that's crazy.
Terry Tippett, Fred Horton.
But that goes with any job, John.
These guys that coach 35, 40 years, it's just hard to imagine, and it's hard for them to imagine it. Maybe it'll play out that's how it works out, but it's just not something when you're 35, 40 years old that you envision and you say, oh, yeah, I'll still be here when I'm 70.
But John,
Yeah,
that happens. Look, you find something that you like or
Right,
love,
and it can
and then
happen.
all of a sudden those years go by.
Yeah,
I mean, I came to Memphis not thinking I was staying in Memphis.
No, you just can't plan for it, though.
You got to take it a day at a time.
Right,
That's,
exactly.
I mean, I know they say
Take it a day at a
it's
time.
cliche,
Yeah,
but really take it a day or a season at a time in the case of a coach.
You don't see the path from 30-year-old coach to 70-year-old coach. But
I'm sure when Bubba took over, he wasn't thinking I'll be doing this for literally that long. Because you just can't. That's something you don't imagine doing that.
Yeah, and he's got he's got some great stories too from when his younger days. Some of them I wrote about back in January when I did a really nice feature on him when they were going to honor him for reaching 700 victories. I mean, just think about it. 700 victories. I mean, you've got to be not only good, but you got to be good pretty much
consistent
every darn year to get to 700 victories or again, think of somebody like Terry Tippett, 900 victories. I mean,
right.
And
Terry's done it at different stops.
Yeah, but I mean, how
right?
good do
Terry
you have
Tippett.
to be, and how consistent do you have to be to get there? It's just amazing. And I look at some of these younger coaches. They're doing great. They got 200 wins, 300 wins. But my goodness, they're just so far away, and it's just it's hard to make the connection.
If you love what you're doing, and then there's some that have goals, coaches that have goals to go from high school to college, and then college maybe to professional. And there's others that they're just happy with helping young men or helping young women develop, whether it be in athletics or just in life in general, be life coaches. I mean, can't say enough about coaches out there. Can't say enough about our buddy John Varlos as well. John, with all the rain and everything, I know it's put a damper on events going on. So, what's the hope here? Just Monday, crank it back up?
Well, hopefully by then, I do want to, as long as we're talking about Christian Brothers, I want to segue real quick into a couple of kids I wanted to spotlight. So Ashton Hearn from Christian Brothers.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you do. Oh, my gosh.
Tell me.
I saw
knows.
those numbers.
Eli knows. So Ashton Hearn from Christian Brothers, he went down to the Clyde Littlefield Relays, which is a prestigious track meet down at the University of Texas, and he threw the discus 211 feet 5 inches, which not only is the best current throw in the state of Tennessee, it's the best throw ever by an athlete from the state of Tennessee. Now, there's some gray area on if you can call it a state record or not, because they're kind of particular. They say in order to be a state record, it has to be on Tennessee soil, and he was competing at Texas.
Right.
But it's the longest throw ever by an athlete from Tennessee. It's the 23rd best throw by a discus thrower all time. So this just shows you the level of discus throwing that Ashton Hearn at Christian Brothers is doing. The kid's incredible. Last year, his throw at the state championship, Eli, you might remember this. I think it would have been like 3rd or 4th at the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was. I remember it being something like up in that area. He's incredible. 211 feet with the discus. Like when I saw that number, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, he's incredible, and there were 2 incredible performances locally. So Miles Nesmith from Central, he also went to the same meet, 51 feet 5 inches in the triple jump. Again, the best mark ever by a Tennessee athlete, and the best mark currently in the country. Nobody in the United States on the high school level is triple jumping better than Miles Nesmith at Central right now. So Miles, Ashton Hearn, these baseball players, the talent in the city just never stops, and it's not it's not just the basketball, it's not just the football, the stuff that a lot of people pay attention to, golf, tennis, soccer, baseball, track. We see it year in and year out. These kids just doing incredible things.
The track and field stuff's going to make Eddie Murphy very happy. I met him the other day.
Yeah.
The son of the late Ed Murphy and the track and field. They're trying to make this such a they already have the great event that we talked to you about a lot, trying to make this a track and field destination to have these great track and field athletes.
Yeah. And
doesn't hurt.
And Central. I mean, you guys remember, Jordan Ware from a couple of years ago set all the state records. Xavier Wolf, and he was awesome in the triple jump, and Miles Nesmith is just blowing all that out of the water. So just
you're going to see me get hurt. Let me try and do a triple jump. I will blow out everything on my lower half.
Yeah, 2 incredible performances last week. So thank you, Greg, for letting me spotlight those guys.
Absolutely, John. Good stuff. John Varlas joins us every Friday. He's brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis. Give them a call in Cordova at 901-779-3176 or in Collierville 901-316-5500 and ask about the JV special. JV 2025 is the promo code and get a discount already on what you can do now, and that's monthly membership. When we come back, we open up Hour 2 talking with Brevin Knight, Grizzlies television analyst. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. Commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue 6-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
Sports Pictures. When you save money by bundling your water bottle with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, as long as an option, just not good. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and think what? Heroes just leave it and see where the bottle of Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance and giving its other insurance not available in most future situations.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
This traffic report on Sports 56 is brought to you by Palo Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South Palo Windows. The standard is affordable luxury.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. So far, so good. As far as really bad accidents now, TDOT and those help trucks have been very busy this morning on a couple of minor problems. Here's what we're seeing, a little bit heavier traffic volume as you come southbound there on Austin P, getting up on that ramp to I-40. As you continue west on I-40, over around the 101 connector, coming over the bridge here on I-40, over from West Memphis, and the 55 bridge. Looks pretty good, at least for now. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters. This bridal season is just around the corner. Go Go by and see him at Weimer's Jewelry this weekend. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Hour 2 on the way. Welcome back, everybody. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you. Getting you set for the sports weekend, broadcasting live. We're live and local, broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 60 degrees. It will heat up to 84 today. We are expecting rain. Showers, a few thunderstorms are likely, but it's not as ominous a forecast as it was earlier, even in hour 1 when I gave it to you, but that chance of rain is 60%. So in your neck of the woods, you may not see that rain or see a thunderstorm. Tonight, those showers becoming a steady rain overnight. Low is 69, chance of rain at 70% tonight. Then tomorrow looks to be more rain, thunderstorms, about a 90% chance with a high of 73. Sunday, the high only 51. But sunshine for a good part of the day. Then I think later in the afternoon, the chance of showers at about 50% before things really dry out next week. Hour 2 of the program is brought to you by the great folks at James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. And every Monday and Friday, they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know, with his win last night as the interim head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, Duomas Isolo becomes the 14th different coach to win at least one game in Grizzlies history. That goes back to Vancouver. Now, there was an interim coach in Johnny Davis who coached 2 games but did not win. But as far as picking up at least one win, 14 different coaches. Several of them had a couple of stints. Most notably, Lionel Hollins 3 different times. Tony Baroni was an interim coach. But 14 different coaches now with the win last night for Duomas Isolo. James Gaddis Jewelers, check out their great diamonds, watches, pendants, necklaces, bracelets, all their great jewelry. This weekend, head on over there, and it's coming in just a few days. It'll be the return of James and Linda Gaddis from their trip to Antwerp. That's where they go to get the diamonds. And we'll have all these new beautiful diamonds for your engagement, for your weddings. So make sure when you're looking at those engagement rings, wedding rings, you think James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Coming up in just a few moments, we will talk Grizzlies with Brevin Knight. The Grizz knocking off the Heat in dramatic fashion last night, 110 to 108. As they had to have it, Eli, and they got it.
They did indeed. You're as far as if you want to avoid the play-in, pretty much every game is a must-win.
I would say so.
You could probably afford to lose, I guess, maybe one game, maybe 2, but it would be tough. You certainly would have to beat Minnesota in that, but it's we are into a situation now where just about every one of them is a must-win if you're going to avoid the play-in.
Joining us now, Grizzlies television analyst, former NBA point guard, Stanford graduate, and future Champions Tour golfer. He is the one and only Brevin Knight, who you can follow on Twitter at BrevinKnight22. He joins us now from, I believe, Miami. Good morning, Brevin.
Morning. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. You know, the city's doing fine this morning. It has not been good with weather. It has not been good with the Grizzlies. So last night, the weather, I think, will get better, I hope, after more rain tomorrow. But the Grizzlies, they get it done. Everybody's got a little sigh of relief, and they do it in dramatic style. What a performance again from the superstar of this team, Ja Morant, last night as they get the win in Miami.
Yeah, no, he was spectacular. It's what you expect from guys of his caliber, and it's the reason why he's so important to the team. I always say that he has the it factor for our team, and We know how much that Dez has grown in his game. We know how much that Jaron has grown in their game. But there is just a special attribute that the young man has and that he brings to the floor. And so we got an opportunity to see it last night on full display and a much-needed win for this Grizzlies team, for the standings, but I just think also for their psyche. They just needed to be able to finish one of these games in the fourth quarter because as we looked, we could talk about the threes, we talk about defensively being better on the offensive and what were they going to do. But in a lot of these games, and the majority of them, they've been right there in fourth quarters, just had not been able to close out fourth quarter. So it was nice to see them be able to close it out in that fashion.
By the way, Brevin, it's a little unacceptable for you to be on load management this week. I mean, come on, taking 2 games off this week. I mean, that's a little unacceptable. I know you're getting ready for that stretch run, but taking 2 games off in a week is that's ridiculous.
Well, this I want everyone to know that I have zero control over that. Like this is whole TNT thing. I can't use that language that I would like to use because you guys are on real time here. But this is some crap that happens to us with this TNT thing. How they just all of a sudden out the blue, they feel like, oh, you know what, we want that game. So guess what, you guys don't work. So it's definitely not a choice of ours to be sitting on those sides, being fans in that way.
The
one game Pete got to work.
Pete says, I'll work. Brevin, you take the night off.
Pete, we call him TNT Petey now. I mean, he just told us, hey, look, guys, we don't have a game, but I have a game. And I always told him, I thought we was a we thing. We always spoke French, and then all of a sudden now he's speaking English.
He left you guys in the dust, didn't he?
Brevin, get out of the way for Brendan Haywood. Well, he's got this one for you. Go with Ja. And I think you can even go back before the injury. I had the 44-point game against Cleveland. He had a couple of 30-point games. They're like, he just seems really engaged right now. Do you feel like that it's a little bit even different than what we see other times?
Yeah, because we all understand what's at stake. And I think you see that across the league with all of these guys. That are at his level, but even just with all of our star players, when the games mean the most, that's when you get the most, and so I think that is just the nature. That's why I said that they're of a different breed, and that you can play and be what everyone is looking at and saying, "Oh man, he's so good, he's playing good," and then there gets to a point like, "Damn, he went to another level." Mm-hmm. And that going to another level because now this is the epitome of what they want to do. Is I want to win a championship. You don't see winning a championship in game 30 or game 40 or even 50 or 60, but you can start to see how it's shaking out when you get to game 70 and beyond. And so I think just like I said, the switch gets flipped with those guys as in terms of, all right, now it's time for me to do more to solidify what we're going to be.
Mm-hmm. If you're a star or you're going to be a star, you have to step up. And this is the time when you step up. That's why you look at the results of other games around the league, teams that are competing to be in the postseason. Those teams, superstars, step up. You saw Steph Curry the other night. You saw LeBron James on Saturday when they played the Grizzlies. And now you see Ja Morant. Brevin Knight is joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines, getting ready for a trip to Detroit where the Grizzlies will play the Pistons tomorrow. All right, so give me your take on everything that went down with the firing of Taylor Jenkins and the promotion on an interim basis, at least to start, for Tomas Isolo. As a former player, you may have a different perspective with a team that's in the playoff hunt and certainly going to go to the postseason, and yet the coach is fired with 9 games remaining. What was your take on everything?
It was surprising, and I think if I put on a player's hat, it takes you aback for a moment, and you would like to, and probably those guys reached out to Taylor. I reached out to Taylor to tell him thank you for what he did, but I've said this over and over and over. The NBA is about the business of basketball. It's not the sport of basketball. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of times fans get themselves riled up about a lot of things that happen. And it has a lot, it's because they are still looking at it as a sport of us. Like, you guys are out there playing the game that we love. I go out and play with my friends in this time and not, yeah, but that is not the mentality of the people that are in it. The people that are in it, this is your livelihood to go along with playing the game. And so for the players, the mentality is you are definitely, you feel for Taylor and his family because you never like to see someone lose their job. But you also still realize in this other brain, we still have a task at hand, which is ensuring that we make it to the playoffs, that we make it to a first-round playoff situation and give ourselves the best chance at winning. And so I think for them, you have the distraction of what is going on with the season still at that time to not wallow in what happened in the changing of the coaches. And so I think the other thing is you also realize that the onus is now more on you than anything else because, okay, we things weren't going in that direction. We moved on from the coach. We can't just keep saying that, well, the coach got to do this, the coach. Now some of this responsibility is on the shoulder of the guys that are playing. And I think that's the other thing that you start to feel. And so I think for all of them it was, yes, the shock that it happened because of the timing, but the reality is you still got to go out and perform. And so that gives them the opportunity to do what they are all great at doing, which is going out and putting the ball in the hole, defending, making the right passes, doing all of the things that give you a chance to win basketball games becomes your major focus. Everyone else, for all of us on the outside, we can continue to speculate and why and when and who. That's not for players at this point in time to have to wrap their mind around.
So, and I don't know how many coaches' firings you were a part of, you went through when you were a player, but in this situation, because it's happening so late in the season, but with basically 2 weeks, and again, there's not much practice time because it seems like you're playing a game like every day or every other day, and you got travel, everything else. Like, how much can systems change? Like, how much actual change can happen when that new coach comes in this short of a period of time?
I don't think you change. The change is not so much in the X's and O's. Like, you make some little wrinkles here and there, but you're not trying to overload guys with not having to think the game. You still want them to play. The change that happens is, I think people then start to realize the importance of every possession. That's the change. And the fact of thinking that tomorrow isn't promised, which is tomorrow doesn't mean that we're going to win this game just because. We have to go out and take the game. And because you do have, like I was just saying, you have that the added thought that we have to now control our destiny, not just rely on someone to control it for us. I think that just kicks in more. So you don't worry about, you try to make some adjustments in what you're doing. And I say, if you've seen some slippage in areas of things that you have worked on before in the past, then you try to just reinforce those things. But it's more than giving somebody more. You would probably simplify it just a little bit less to just allow guys' talents to come out, not the thought process of trying to play basketball.
And along that line, everybody keeps the big conversation has been about on the offensive end, but I want to get your thoughts on the defense, because the defense, from where it was pre All-Star break to post All-Star break, completely different. First of all, what have you seen that has made them drop so much defensively? And since Isolo has taken over, are they doing anything differently defensively, or has there been any, as you said, slight changes in kind of the approach defensively?
Well, I think the biggest issue that happened after the All-Star was the quality of shots that the opponents were getting. And before, and I'll be honest with you, in watching our team play, and seeing what the defensive numbers were and where we were, I never understood what was used in coming up with what puts you in this defensive ranking, because some of the areas that I thought were concerns are still areas of concern, which is getting to the three-point line, and then also in terms of their help situation, over-helping a little bit. What's the rotation going to be? And I think here we're still seeing, of course, the struggles from the 3-point line. But I think there's just been a heightened effort by the guys on the defensive side, which gives you a chance. Now, the other issue was sustaining this effort on the defensive end had become an issue. And so, in terms of scheme, we've seen them try more things, try playing the zone a little bit. We've seen the bigger thing is seeing their bigs get up higher on screens is a big thing, to at least allow the guard some opportunity to get through a screen and then get back, not just laying back all the time and letting teams pick and choose how they're going to come off screens. And so there have been some little intricacy things that have changed, but I think it's just the overall effort across the board is something that is there, because at this point the accountability, it goes up. It no longer we continue to say, well, Taylor's doing this, Taylor's doing this. No, there's now the accountability starts to go onto your shoulders, and now when it's that high, then you change your level of engagement. So I think that the engagement side has been a lot better for the team.
Yeah, you really have no choice. You know what's at stake. You're playing for something. Something's on the line here. Brevin Knight is joining us, Grizzlies television analyst with the team. They'll be heading from Miami to Detroit, take on the Pistons tomorrow night. Okay, so I want to read you this quote. This came from Drew Hill's story. He had interviewed John Moran after the game last night. And here's Ja's quote about Tomas Isolo. He said he comes in and says what he wants to do, but he also bases it off us. The one thing he preaches the most in is trust. He wants to have trust in us. He wants us to have trust in him. Then he wants us to have trust in each other out on the floor. If there's something that as a team we do not agree on, he's able to actually listen and see what we think we should do to allow us to win. Now, I'm not going to put two and two together and come up with maybe Taylor wasn't listening to what they had to say. I don't know that for a fact, but here is Ja, very complimentary of Isolo. Tell me what you know of Tomas, who comes in with good credentials, having done wonders with that Paris team last year. But also, I can't imagine, Brev, that this little short period of time is his audition. I think there's a good chance that he's back in the fold next year. What's your overall thoughts on Isolo?
Well, first off, I enjoyed him as an assistant coach because he would come to the back of the plane and we would have conversations. Or when we see him in the hotel, in the weight room, he was never standoffish. Always willing. I mean, we sat down one day and had a really good talk on the bus ride going over to a game, just learning who he was and what he came from playing to then deciding, this coaching thing is kind of cool, to taking a team that was almost like that, that Wrexham golf, the soccer team. Those guys went over and the team was pretty much nothing, and they just built it up. I mean, that's pretty much how he started and turned the team into something, and that allowed him to just keep moving forward. And so, just to get to know him as a person was cool, and for him to put himself in that position to be vulnerable enough to even to talk to us in that way, I had a level of respect for him, and now hearing what you just said with John Morant just speaks to the person that he is. And so I don't think it's a putting two and two together. I think it's just it is who he is. And I always say a lot of times, as soon as somebody starts talking about who somebody is, and you start to say, was the other person not that? It wasn't that the other person wasn't that. This is just who he is and how what his approach to it is. And it's an approach at this point in time that's working amongst all of the other things that are swirling and going on. It's nice to have somebody who they can feel confident with, that every night they step on the floor, at least they have a plan, but we're not just stuck on that one thing. There can be some adjustments within it. And so when you get the most out of people that are, in essence, going out there and working for you, is when they believe in what is going on, or they believe you have their best interests at heart.
Well said. Yeah.
And so I think, and again, I just think that's how he comes across. In no way, shape, or form does that all of a sudden mean, oh, Taylor wasn't that way? No, it doesn't mean that.
Okay.
It just means I'm explaining to you what I'm getting from Tormas right now.
Gotcha.
The hot topic of the day already this morning for day number 2 is the old finger guns.
I'm not. That's a waste of time. We can't keep we like trying our hardest to people want some way to create some narrative to keep something coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And for us in Memphis, I got no credence into it. Listen, y'all continue to try to vilify this young man as much as you want to. He, in no way, shape, or form is he. Now we can go to some people who advocate for gun violence on a regular basis. If we want to start talking about that are people who are fine to allow guns to be as they are, but then we want to turn around and be like, oh, he made a gun gesture. I'm not trying to hear that.
Right.
I'm not trying. When the rest of this country takes guns seriously to where we want to do something to make it better, then you hold all these other people accountable. But we're not going to hold NBA players and all these other people in a higher esteem than those others that are in very visible positions that can do something about gun violence. So I got zero to say about it. And for all of those people that are hypocrites that want to talk about it, you can kick rocks.
Well said, bro.
I mean, it's amazing to me that like literally the NBA has to come out and say it's okay because they weren't meant as violent gestures. Well, no kidding, it's fingers. They are fingers.
Like, come on, as a kid, we they're going to play
Yes.
as some type of OK Corral shootout. There, we did this. You do this forever, all the time.
We've done it forever.
We're not going to now vilify these young men in this game to say, oh, well, they are promoting about. No, shut up.
Well, Brevin, guess what? We had a texter earlier who said, didn't Chichi Rodriguez, every time you make a big putt, pull out the sword and start swashbuckling like he's going to – what? He wasn't really intending to pull out a real sword and stab somebody with it after he made a putt. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But here's the thing. Ja, and another quote of his was about the villain. He says, I've been the villain. I embrace the villain role. We saw last night him come through with the big-time shot to win the game. Do you know of players maybe in your past, whether it was college at Stanford or in the NBA, that used that kind of as a chip? All right, they don't like me. Well, they're going to see the best out of me, and they can use that as a positive.
All of us that are considered, I tell you, all of us that were stars in college and high school, you're the villain every time you walk into an opposing gym.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter. So this is the norm. So did we all embrace it? We all embraced it. We all want to get into that arena and see y'all walking out before the clock goes off. Or we want to see. Unfortunately, I want to see that little kid that was yelling and calling me all type names when the game is over. I want to see you crying. That is what we live for. So the quote that he made is, all of us are villains when you're a player of status. And I say everyone that's in the NBA, before the NBA, they were a player of status in whatever college, wherever you came from. Once you get to the league now, there's just a different group of guys who are the superstars and the stars, and the rest of us are role guys. So people not really worrying about the role guy in that fashion. Mm-hmm. But they are going to continue to come out, and just as much as they want to cheer you, and as many people as you go into these opposing arenas and they have on the opposing person's jersey, they're the people who are fans of those teams, they are going to vilify you. They're going to do whatever they can to think that they're getting under your skin. So, we all embrace that role. But the thing about that role, that's a road role that you play. Right. That's not a role that you play when you're at home. You're not the villain at home.
Gotcha.
But when you go on the road, you're definitely that. And so, you embrace it because you want that feeling of triumph in the end.
Last thing for you, we're against the clock, but I just got a text from our friend Jarvis Greer. He wanted me to ask you about the rotation. Now, he says 8-man rotation. Luke is in it. What does Brev think? But remember, Vince Williams, he didn't play, right, last night? He was out again with the illness. So it seems like it's less of a rotation as far as numbers of players from Isolo as opposed to Taylor. What do you think about that rotation? I guess specifically he brings up Kennard.
Well, the reality is that all rotations start to tighten once you get to the playoffs. And now what happens to 8, 9, 10? These are all situational situations. So it is if you need spacing on the floor, if you need a defender, if you need whatever the need is from those positions at that time are the players that you'll play. I think you settle in on. I mean, usually start to say you settle in on maybe 8 guys, and the 8th guy can float maybe. Depend, like I said, depending on the situation. You're not as much trying to worry about playing 10 and 11 people, and that was a strategy that they were using to ensure that guys were still ready to play, but also recognizing that if someone gets hurt, we're going to need some of these other guys to play in some pressure moments. So why not give them the opportunity to be on the floor now,
right,
as much as you can, but knowing that as you got closer to the end of the season, that Edie, Ja, Jaren, their minutes are going to rise. Santi is a part of that. Jalen Wells has continued to keep himself in a position of being there, and Scottie Pippen Jr. has emerged in the way that he has. And so there's going to be certain guys that you know are going to play the heavy minutes, and then the other guys will fit in terms of what is needed on that night.
Mm-hmm. He's simply the best. He's Grizzlies television analyst Brevin Knight, former NBA point guard, Stanford graduate, and future Champions Tour golfer. By the way, Liv is in Miami right now. I don't know if you
what
hear
course
about that, but Liv's there.
What course did you play down there?
We played Biltmore, and we played over a hidden gem called Crandon Park. That's on Key Biscayne. Which is absolutely phenomenal. They just redid it, and it absolutely kicked our ass yesterday. Sorry, I don't want to say that.
Make sure to follow Brev on Twitter at BrevinKnight22. Grizzlies and the Pistons tomorrow.
And he's actually going to work tomorrow night.
Yes, we're back. FanDuel TV, turn us on.
He still works. He plays golf. He's the best. Thanks, Brev.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. And everyone, stay safe there at home.
Thank you very much. Good stuff, as always.
Got a text from Andrew, says, on my drives to and from work every day, I have single-handedly controlled the squirrel population due to my sharp-shooting finger guns. Can't wait for ESPN to do an article on my marksmanship.
We need to take a break. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Insured by NCUA.
Spring is here, and it's the perfect time to give your home a little love with Choate's $93 spring deals. Got a slow or smelly drain? We'll clear it for just $93, or it's free if we can't. Also, your home's electrical system is working 24/7 behind the walls, and an inspection from Choate's can help catch hidden dangers before they become big problems. We're talking about outdated or overloaded panels, loose wiring that can spark fires, improper grounding or GFCI protection, breaker issues, flickering lights, and more. Our licensed electricians will perform a full home safety check, identify risks, and give you a plan to keep your family safe and your power running strong. All for just $93. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to book your appointment today. Choates Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Let our family serve your family.
Showboats fans, the boats are back in action with a 1:30 kickoff on Saturday, April 12th at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium as they take on the Houston Roughnecks in a special Memphis wrestling-themed game, the Showboats Showdown. Come see all the football action of the UFL and enjoy wrestling matches pregame and a special halftime main event. More football, more wrestling, more Showboats. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings along to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and carpeting, tile, mattress, and shutters and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, and family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business. Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church downtown Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's got a little bit busier on 385 Bill Morris Parkway coming in from Collierville as you work your way past Riverdale here on 385 all the way up to 240 in the Midtown area. It's trying to get a little bit heavier. I-40 over here at Chelsea as we watch it build from the south on 55 northbound up through South Haven. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. This coming bridal season, it's just around the corner. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:36 the time. Coming up at 9:05 or thereabouts, we'll play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Brandon Lang will join us at 9:25. One correction from way back in the first hour when John Varlas joined us. He was talking about the Major League Baseball draft, the college draft. It is not in June. It's in July. July 13th and 14th this year will be the college baseball amateur draft.
They do it All-Star weekend now. Or All-Star around the All-Star game.
Did they used to do it in June?
Yes, but now they moved it to the All-Star break. Couple of texts here on the Grizzlies and Ja. Get 360-8255, 360-825. Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. Tyler texts. He says, I wonder if Ja is intentionally doing this to try to eventually get traded. Well, I assume you're talking about like basically defying the NBA when they tell him not to do this and he does it again that night. I don't think that would necessarily help you get traded because it would, if anything, it might hurt your trade value because there might be some other teams that would say we don't want the guy who does that.
No, if you want to get traded and you're a star and you have power and you have clout in the NBA, you know what you do? You go up to the general manager and you say, I want to be traded. There you go. That's it. You don't need to do something that's detrimental to your value, like you said, and to interest from other teams. Right now, by the way, his value is not the highest it was or could be, depending on how much he stays on the court. When he starts showing consistency in him playing a lot of games, getting back to what he was doing at the beginning of his career, his value goes up because you know what type of player he is. But I don't even want to think about that. You know, it has been brought up by Kendrick Perkins on ESPN. We had that anonymous GM talk about that, look out for that this summer. I don't know. It's one of those situations where it would hurt in a lot of different ways, but you're a small market that happens to have a player that's quasi-superstar. He may not be a superstar, but he's certainly on the cusp of one. You got to be out there on the court playing. You got to win something too. But you give something away like that's not going to sit well with fans. But I think this change and all that plays into this. They make the move here. They bring in Isolo, I just read you the quote when Brevin was on that Drew Hill had after his interview last night with Ja. Seemed very complimentary. I think I think he likes Memphis. I think he likes this area, but I mean, who knows? But I think it's that simple in this day and age. If a star player is not happy, they go to the management and they say, I want to be dealt.
I don't believe Ja wants out. I don't believe they will trade Ja. Now, we talked with DeMichael Cole yesterday about, if they go out with a whimper this year, could they look at major changes in the offseason? Yeah, certainly. I think the most likely, if you're talking about the big three, I think Desmond Bain would be the most likely of those to be traded. But
why do you say that?
Because he's the clear number 3 of the group.
Okay.
And making with a max contract and everything else, I think they would. And he's just, let's be honest, Desmond Bain has not been very good this year.
He's been inconsistent.
But for a max player, he hasn't been that good.
Right. He has games where they're phenomenal, and then other games that he's well off his normal shooting. A 2 for 13 night here. Last night he didn't shoot the ball well, but he did the other things last night
I think
with 10 rebounds, 6 assists.
I think they would just look to get kind of maybe bigger, longer at that position, that type of stuff with the shooing. But I'm not saying he will, but I think if they were gonna make a big change and get rid of one of the 3. To me, Desmond Bain would be the most obvious one of the 3 that they would look to move. Won't be easy with that contract, everything else, but I think he would be the one that he would be most likely to move. Raider Corey texts in, says it sounds like that some people in the local media really don't care for Ja as a player on the Grizzlies. They believe he wasn't really injured. Yes, he needs to scale back on some of his actions because he's become a target brought on by himself. However, if this motivates Ja, it's good for the team.
Yeah, he's motivated. There's no question about it. The injury thing, he was hurt. But how injured was he? Was it a coincidence that Taylor's let go? The next day he's playing. He plays 3 and 4 days, plays again now after missing 6 straight. I don't know. That's a little curious, but I don't think for any second that he was faking an injury. Could he have come back earlier? Maybe. They were being very cautious with him. But as I said the other day, he has to play every game. They have to be in that mode right now that Brevin just talked about. Your last 10, 15 games, really, in reality, and he hasn't always been available. But now, in this stretch, 5 games to go in the regular season, he better be suiting up every night. And right now, there's no indication that he won't. He's been on a nice roll since, again, the coaching change was made.
Well, he was on a roll before.
Well, no, but then he was injured. I'm not talking about him playing well. I'm talking about playing games. He was on a roll of playing consistently, and then all of a sudden he didn't play for 6 straight games. Remember, he complained about playing the one game that he played, and everything kind of went down the crapper after that. And then they made the coaching change, and he has been the Ja Morant that he has to be, and that we expect him to be.
The injury thing again. I mean, they're coming back after the fire. I get people who want to try and make that. If Taylor Jenkins was still the head coach, Ja would have played the stretch of games too. I firmly believe that. Again, he was getting ready. I mean, Taylor had just said that he was he's day to day. He was going to be coming back soon. So I don't like the idea that he was doing this to get Taylor fired or whatever. I don't believe that at all. I get how people will make that, but I don't believe that whatsoever. But hopefully, again, as he said, if it motivates Ja, whatever I don't care what the motivation is, but this locked in Ja that we have seen, whatever you need to channel Ja, whatever. I don't care if it's a finger gun deal that they're getting on you about. I don't care if it's booing from fans. I don't care if it's opposing fans in the home stands. I don't care what it is. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. That's all I care about.
As long as he doesn't cross a line, as long as it's not against the NBA, as long as it's not going after a fan, yes, be motivated whichever way you want to be motivated by. Be the villain. It doesn't matter. Wear the black hat. That's fine. As Brevin said, that's what happens every time you go to an opposing building anyway, in any sport. You are the villain. Let me squeeze in Tony real quick. Tony, we got less than a minute. He joins us on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. Hey, Tony.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. Hey, I got to say, man, I thought as soon as the talk was about this air gun crap, you see it all through college basketball. All that players celebrate hitting 3-point shots, and they celebrate big time. But I thought Ja made the ultimate statement last night when she asked him about the last play, and he said, "Yeah, they put a pigeon on me." That was all-time classic. And I mean, that guy, his mentality is different. He likes things to motivate him, but at the end of the day, everybody wants to be liked, and sometimes he gets sick and tired of the chatter. I mean, this guy does everything he can. He's a smaller frame guy, so he's going to get some punishment. You see him, he falls on the deck a lot. So,
right.
I mean, man, he's a good player. People in Memphis are celebrating. And the thing about him, you see him out at the University of Memphis games. He's at high school basketball games. He's at tournaments. He's Memphis. He is Memphis himself.
Thank you, Tony.
I mean, all this chatter don't mean nothing.
I appreciate it.
Who was the?
I would say, look, 90% of the people feel that way. Embrace him, love him. I don't think there's any question. There's a small minority that is look, they're tired of him missing games. Now that's a bigger majority. That's a majority. That's not a minority of him missing the games. But as far as his value and the skills and what he brings to the table, and yes, he's embraced the city. I think that's a high percentage of people that feel that way.
Who was the? Gosh, I could picture. That used to celebrate the 3-pointers with he would pull the arrow out and shoot it.
Jamal Murray does it.
Murray did. That's right. But there was somebody who used to do it. An older guy that used to do it. It was not that long ago. He played. Gosh, I could picture his face, and I can't think of his name. But I'm pretty sure and he made a lot of threes. He was a really good 3-point shooter. I know I'm pretty sure I never heard a report of one fan getting hit with one of those arrows. I don't believe any of somehow every arrow he shot fell harmlessly to the ground.
Let me see. The NBA player known for his bow and arrow celebration after making a 3-pointer, Wesley Matthews.
There we go. Wesley Matthews. Yep. I can picture his face. Yeah. He made a ton of threes in his career. Dude played forever. That's all he did was shoot threes. Shot an arrow after every one. Never killed one fan.
No, there was a few that nearly grazed the face of somebody, but
puncture wound from any of them. In a full arena, that dude could fire an arrow blindly into the air. Never came down on a person.
Really good 3-point shooter.
And the NBA was fine with it.
Eli, really good 3-point shooter, but terrible with the bow and arrow. He never hit his target. We'll take a quick timeout, come back with our final segment here in hour 2. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Andy Wise here. For 6 years, I've endorsed Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South as the standard in affordable luxury. Now get this. Pella just got more affordable. 12 months, no interest, no payments on what Consumer Reports has rated the highest quality windows on the planet, plus 50% off installation. That includes consumer guarantees no other window company will ever match. You have my word. You'll make the wise choice when you choose Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South.
Spring is really one of the best times of year for sports and visiting Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown neighborhood bar. The Bell Tavern is a sports bar, but with the beginning of baseball, the stretch run for the Grizzlies, and everything else that's going on, there is simply no better place to be than Bell Tavern. One thing people say all the time is that they have made more friends at Bell Tavern than they have at any other bar, and that's because Bell Tavern is a grown-up bar where people treat one another with respect, and that's how you make friends. You go to a friendly place and find out what you have in common, like, say, Bell Tavern. Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need
some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
From the college basketball world, friend of the show, Tony Barbee, has been fired by Central Michigan after 4 seasons. Tony's good people. I would imagine that he'll end up back on John Calipari's staff in one way, one form, one shape or another at Arkansas, and then maybe get another opportunity. He's been a head coach 2 or 3 different places now.
Well, at least 3. He's been at UTEP. He's been at Auburn. He's been at Central Michigan. I don't know if he's ever been in or not.
Yeah, so Tony let go after 4 seasons. The national championship game is set for Monday night, but the national semifinals are tomorrow in San Antonio. Duke and Houston, that line has now gone up from 4.5 to 5.5. Duke is a 5.5 point favorite now over Houston, and it's been pretty steady with Florida a 2.5 point favorite over Auburn. Obviously, you've picked Duke to win it all, so the assumption is you have Duke in this one. Who do you think wins Auburn, Florida?
I had Florida championship game to begin with. I'm not changing now.
So you had a Duke-Florida championship game, so you are in a position to have that come to fruition. Elijah, now that Texas Tech is out of it, although they made a great run, who's going to play in the Natty on Monday?
Well, I had Texas Tech matching up against Duke in the national championship, so I'll roll with the Blue Devils over Houston. And I'm going to go with Auburn. I think Auburn gets revenge for the loss they suffered at home to Florida back in February. I think that they come out. I think that they're dominant. And I think Walter Clayton's heroics are not enough this time around. I go with Duke versus Auburn.
Well, I hope you guys are both wrong about Duke, although right now Duke looks like a well-oiled machine. I took Houston to win it all. I really like Kelvin Sampson. I think Shire's going to have many opportunities to win a Natty, and I hope maybe Sampson can get it done this year. But again, a 5.5 point underdog. The Auburn-Florida game is interesting. Florida won during the regular season by 9. Auburn, I have been high on them all season long. They're an underdog. You talk about playing with a chip on your shoulder. I think they will certainly do so, kind of like what Ja's doing, play with a chip. I think Bruce Pearl coaches with a chip on his shoulder. I think Auburn wins it as well. I think Auburn wins this game, and for me, I'm hoping Houston wins it, and then a Houston-Auburn final with Houston winning it all. It would be something if Houston could cut down the nets in San Antonio and win the Natty.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Kelvin Sampson's one of the great coaches. One of the great what-ifs in college sports is what if he didn't get in trouble when he was at Indiana and end up staying there. Who knows how things might be different, whatever. But the job he has done at Houston is amazing. Certainly has turned that into one of the elite programs in the country. I would have no problem with him getting a title. It's Bruce Pearl's the only coach of the 4 that I've come around on Bruce. I'm fine with him. I
like Bruce.
I didn't used to like him at all, but
he's been on our show.
I'm okay with Bruce. He would, of the coaches, he's probably the last that I would want to see win the title, but I don't have nearly the problems I used to have with Bruce Pearl.
Well, how about the whole thing with Todd Golden? What happened early in the year, the accusations, all that finger pointing going on, and then the charges were dropped. I mean, that was hairy, and yet that team was going out there and obliterating teams. I think Florida is going to be good for a while. I think Golden's a really good coach. Shire Duke is going to be, they're always good. And Shire's really becoming coming out of the shadows of Mike Krzyzewski. And then you have the two veterans, the two guys who have been there, done that, but ultimately wanting to have a national championship next to their name in Bruce Pearl and in Kelvin Sampson. And then who was it? One of the guys, Todd Golden, coached for Bruce, right? Was on Bruce's staff?
Yes. He was like, I don't remember he wasn't an assistant coach, but he was somewhere on the staff originally when I think Bruce's first year there.
And it'll be a busy weekend for all coaches because I'm not going to say all of them because something could be going on in their lives that they can't go, but this is a coaches convention. That's what they have. So these coaches go down to wherever the Final Four is, happens to be down this time from where we are, right? Going southwest to Texas and San Antonio.
It's down from just about everywhere. It's hard not to be going down.
That's true.
If you're not going down to this one, there's only a select few coaches who would not be going down to the Final Four.
Right, but I meant like in general terms, every year isn't down. But they will converge on wherever that is. This year happens to be San Antonio. And that's why I believe, and I was talking to somebody who told me that the portal closes basically for 6 or 7 days. And I don't know the exact details of all what's going on, but I think it makes sense because they probably do it because of the national championship. They don't want that stuff going on while they're having the national semis, the national championship, the coaches convention, all getting together. So I believe that is a dead period. Not sure if it starts today or it started yesterday, but I know Memphis is supposed to have players in. So I'm a little confused as far as whether or not they can have those players in. I don't think so because, again, I would imagine that Penny and other coaches on his staff will head down to San Antonio. I don't know that for sure, but that's usually the case.
Well, we've talked a lot about guns today. At Classic Arms, I don't believe you could buy finger guns. I think that's probably the only type of gun you can't find at Classic Arms is finger guns. But everything else,
can you find squirt guns?
They've got them. I don't know. Listen. Jay might have water guns over there. I don't think he has finger guns. I don't know. But they do have everything you can imagine otherwise in the world of guns with over 700 firearms in stock. New guns, used guns, whatever. Because not only do they sell guns, but they also buy and they will trade. They've got all the top brand names as well that you'll find at Classic Arms. They do free gun inspections. Again, don't go in there and ask them to inspect your finger. They do free gun appraisals as well, free bore sighting. They do it all. If it deals with guns, they deal with it at Classic Arms. Gun supplies like cases and safes and any of that stuff, they've got you taken care of at Classic Arms. 1740 Germantown Parkway, right behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova. Or online, you can shop 24/7, classicarmsofmemphis.com. When it comes to firearms, go see them at Classic Arms.
Coming up in hour number 3, we'll have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Then we got some golf news. We also have baseball news, including something in Major League Baseball that happened yesterday that hadn't happened since 1960. Brandon Lang will join us at 9:25 to handicap the national semifinal games. That's all coming up. More of your texts as well on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
Join the University of Memphis Athletic Department as they host the inaugural Power of Girls in Sports Clinic sponsored by FedEx. Held in the Lori Walton Family Basketball Center Saturday, April 12th, girls 3rd through 6th grade will join Tiger female student athletes and staff to learn life skills, build confidence, and develop a healthy lifestyle while participating in sports. Admission is free and the deadline to sign up is Monday, April 7th. Availability limited to the first 200 girls. Sign up at gotigersgo.com/PGSC.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. Commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue six-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
As a fan, the important sports cultures. And when you save money by bundling your water bottle with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, as long as an option just not good. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and make fun. Heroes just leave it and see what the bottle of Progressive. There's some insurance and giving its other insurance not available in most future situations.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Trying to get out of Collierville's been running a little bit slow due to an accident on 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Again, just to the west of Collierville. On this accident, they're trying to get around it right now, headed towards Memphis. It's building up through the Midtown area on 240 northbound right at Lamar. If your lawn needs a little bit of help this weekend, call the professionals. Lawn Solutions at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Martin. Weekdays from 11 to 1. Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5. This hour brought to you by Champions Foods. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:02 the time. Our final hour this week here on Sports 56 Mornings, getting you set for the sports weekend. And it's going to be a lot of fun into next week because next week's the Masters National Championship game in college basketball Monday night for the men with the semis coming up tomorrow. Major League Baseball in full force and spring football, all kinds of great stuff. Portal stuff, which may not be fun for anybody, but it's happening. And we'll have you all covered each and every day, starting Monday at 7 a.m. But it's still one more hour to go. As I mentioned, we'll play 10 in a row in just a few moments. And then Brandon Lang will join us at about 9:25. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you on this Friday, April 4th, 2025. We are live and local. We're broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, pool time, it's coming up. They got all types of great deals on just about everything. And when you mention this ad, you get free installation. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that, right? Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road. That is just north of I-40. It's currently 64 degrees. It's going to heat up to 84. As far as the storms, the rain, and all that good stuff, not good stuff. We're talking about the possibility of showers early some clearing this afternoon. So the forecast continues to get better with each hour of this show that I talk about it. Only about a 43% chance of precipitation. Now, tonight, rain showers this evening, thunderstorms developing overnight with a low of 69, and it looks like it's a rain affair on Saturday with a high of 73, thunderstorms in the area. Sunday, we'll see a little sun, maybe some rain as well, but it does not look like it's going to be any serious rain. No thunderstorms in the forecast. About a 50% chance of precipitation, but the high only 51 on Sunday, and then 62 for your high on Monday with mostly sunny skies. Hour 3 of the program brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. They're located at 2356 Goodman Road. That's in Horn Lake, Mississippi. Real easy to get to from anywhere in the metropolitan Memphis area, the tri-state area, if you will. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. Look, they specialize in flooring and carpeting. It's that simple. They sell you top-of-the-line material. They sell it wholesale, skip the middleman, and save you lots of money in the process. So for all you do-it-yourself homeowners, your contractors out there, it makes sense to buy from Jenkins. But also, if you can't do it yourself, I can't do it. I can't lay down that carpeting. So I call the experts. You want flooring for your office, for your home? You call Jenkins. They'll come to you wherever you are. They'll give you a free estimate. They'll bring you samples. They'll show you what it will look like, and they'll get the job done in a 2-week turnaround. That's their promise to you. For all you Sports 56 listeners, ask about your family discount. Call them today. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings. 662-469-9350. Open Monday through Saturday. Financing always available at Jenkins Floors and More. Before we get to 10 in a row, just a programming note. So I mentioned earlier that Memphis baseball, they moved it up to, it was originally scheduled for 6:05 tonight. They're going to play a doubleheader over at FedEx Park, Avron Fogelman Field, starting at noon. In the meantime, Ole Miss also had to adjust their schedule because of all the rains in Lexington, Kentucky. So they're playing a doubleheader today, and that one will start at 2 o'clock. We won't have coverage of Ole Miss until after our programming at 6, correct, Eli?
That's correct.
So 6 o'clock if you want to check in what's going on with the Ole Miss Rebels. Time now for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's the game show that has swept the nation. If you want to participate, jump on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines right now at 901-360-8255. It's brought to you each and every week by Napa Cafe.
That's right. So we're at 5101 Sanderlin. That's where you'll find Napa Cafe. You can also find them online at napacafe.com, where you can check out the menu, make reservations, do all of that good stuff right there on the website at napacafe.com. I'm looking at the menu right now, that dinner menu, which includes some great seafood options like the halibut or the salmon or the sea bass, maybe the crab cakes, shrimp and grits, or the scallops. They've also got plenty of other items like the filet or the chicken or the short ribs or the pork chop, the pepper-crusted pork tenderloin. So many great things to choose from on that great menu over at Napa Cafe for just a nice night out with friends, or maybe it's celebrating a special occasion. If you're celebrating a special occasion, maybe you want to check into the private wine cellar, which is a great, great place to have a beautiful dinner and celebrate something special over at Napa Cafe. They've been doing it for 27 years now at 5101 Sanderlin. Again, napacafe.com to make your reservations. Check out the menu. They're open for dinner Wednesday through Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock. And you can get everything to go as well. If you want to take it home with you and have some of that delicious food at home, they can certainly take care of you there as well at Napa Cafe. The winner of 10 in a row will get a $50 gift certificate to Napa Cafe, along with $25 to Elwood's Shack, a $25 gift card also to Putt Putt Golf and Games, and a couple of Malco movie passes.
All right, nice prize package. Again, don't delay. If you do, you may get shut out. Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines are open to you at 901-360-8255. Here is your question. Mentioned all the college basketball coaches, or at least a good portion of them, will be migrating to San Antonio with coaches meetings and the Final Four this weekend. College basketball coaches in the top 25 on the all-time wins list. College basketball coaches who are in the top 25 on the all-time wins list. Now, this is across all three divisions in NAIA. Okay? I'll give you a hint. I'm not going to give you any obscure name. Games vacated are not included on this list, but don't let that fool you too bad. Games vacated, not included on this list, but it may not affect some of the coaches that you're probably thinking about right now. So it's college basketball coaches in the top 25 on the all-time wins list. And they had to produce a lot of wins, let me tell you, to make the top 25.
360-8255, 360-8255. That's the number. Sissy's Log Cabin listener line to play 10 in a row. Again, $50 to Napa Cafe, $25 to Elwood's Shack, $25 to Putt Putt Golf and Games, and a couple of Malco movie passes, all going to the winner of 10 in a row today. Again, 360-8255. Stephen will lead us off. Hey, Stephen.
Stephen?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. All right. College basketball coaches in the top 25 on the all-time wins list. Jim Calhoun.
Yes.
Lute Olson.
Yes.
360-8255. These are all big names. There's been a lot of big names. So just because you hear a big name, don't assume. 360-8255. Who's next?
Next up is Robert. Hey, Bob.
Hey, how you doing?
John Calipari.
Yes.
Bob Knight.
Yes.
Tom Izzo.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number.
Next up is David. Hello, David.
Hey, David.
Hey, guys.
College basketball coaches in the top 25 on the all-time wins list. This brings in all divisions. Division 1, 2, 3. You're talking about NAIA. They're all on that list. Jim Calhoun.
Yes.
Lute Olson.
No.
Bob Huggins.
No.
360-8255. Huggy Bear's been around a long time and wants to possibly get back into coaching. Who's next? 360-8255 is the number. Got a few open lines here.
Next up is Carl. Hey, Carl.
Hi, Carl.
How's it going, guys?
Going well, thank you. John Calipari.
Yes.
Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Tom Izzo.
No.
Dean Smith.
Yes.
Mark Few.
No.
Jim Boeheim.
Yes.
Ray Meyer.
Yes.
360-8255. It's tough because there's been so many great coaches who have accumulated a lot of wins, but these are the top 25 of all time. Again, games vacated, not included on this list, but it may not affect some of these names. Obviously, we've already talked about John Calipari, and he had 40 games vacated, and he's still on this list, top 25 all time.
360-8255, 360-8255 to get in line for 10 in a row. Brought to you by Napa Cafe. Up next, we have Mario. What's up, Mario?
Super Mario.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
Not much. Here we go. Jim Calhoun.
Yes.
Lute Olson.
No.
Bob Huggins.
Yes.
Dana Altman.
No.
Rick Pitino.
No.
Roy Williams.
Yes.
Bill Self.
Yes.
John Chaney.
No.
Rick Barnes.
No.
360-8255. Good run by Mario.
Next up, we have, is it Wayman? Okay. Wayman, what's up?
Hey, Wayman.
What's going on, guys?
Not a whole lot. Again, college basketball coaches in the top 25 on the all-time wins list. This includes all divisions, NAIA as well. Games vacated, not included on this list. We go to list 2. John Calipari.
Yes.
Bob Knight.
Yes.
Tom Izzo.
Yes.
360-8255. You would think, but he's not. Next.
Next up is Andre. Hello, Andre.
Andre?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much. All right, we go back to list 1, and we almost had a winner with Mario. Jim Calhoun.
Yes.
Lute Olson.
No.
Bob Huggins.
Yes.
Dana Altman.
No.
Rick Pitino.
Yes.
360-8255. That's the shocking one. 360-8255. But he was in Greece for a while there and wasn't coaching for a while. Next.
Jason, what's happening?
Hey, Jason.
I'm gonna try it.
All right. John Calipari.
No.
360-8255. He lost 40 games, but still is on that list. Top 25. Who's next?
George is up. What's up, George?
What's up, George?
Hey, guys, let's try.
Jim Calhoun.
Yes.
Lute Olson.
No.
Bob Huggins.
Yes.
Dana Altman.
No.
Rick Pitino.
No.
Roy Williams.
Yes.
Bill Self.
Yes.
John Chaney.
Yes.
360-8255. Got a couple of open lines, but who's next here?
KC's next. Hey, KC.
KC.
Hey.
How's the KC and the Sunshine? What are they? Sunshine Band.
Yeah,
How's the Sunshine Band?
They're cool.
All
They're
right.
cool.
All right. Here we go. John Calipari.
Yes.
Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Tom Izzo.
No.
Dean Smith.
Yes.
Mark Few.
Yes.
360-8255. Open lines. Come on, guys. College basketball coaches in the top 25 on the all-time wins list that includes all divisions, NAIA as well. Games vacated, not included on this list. Again, what are the folks playing for?
$50 to Napa Cafe, $25 to Elwood Shack, $25 to Putt Putt Golf and Games, and a couple of Malco movie passes. I would assume, I don't know, I would assume that Rick Pitino with the vacated ones counting would be in the top 25.
It was close, but yeah, he's not. Some are affected by it, some are not, depending on the vacated wins. You know, these guys, some of these guys have put together like incredible amounts of years, as has Pitino. But there's going to be a name. Did I use it? No, we haven't even got to it yet. That you're going to be stunned. But anyway, it is what it is. Who's next?
Brandon, what's up?
Well, not much. How y'all?
Doing good, Brandon. All right, here we go. Jim Calhoun.
Yes.
Lute Olson.
No.
Bob Huggins.
Yes.
Dana Altman.
No.
Rick Pitino.
No.
Roy Williams.
Yes.
Bill Self.
Yes.
John Chaney.
No.
Rick Barnes.
Yes.
Norm Stewart.
No.
There you go. There's your winner right there.
Brandon, congratulations. You are a winner. Hold on, Elijah. We'll get your information. Tell you how to get your prizes.
So we got to the second list. We got down to Ray Meyer, who had been forever at DePaul. He's a no. So here's the last three, Eli. I already told you one's going to be a stunner, so you'll probably know how to answer this. Gary Williams.
No.
John Wooden.
No.
That's a no. Tubby Smith.
No.
There you go.
Pitino, by the way, Pitino, if he had his vacated wins, would be 15th.
Yeah, but again, some were affected by it, some were not. Calipari was not affected. Boeheim, I think, had some vacated, wasn't affected by it. But John Wooden, when I looked this up, I kept looking at the list going, did they forget to put John Wooden in there? And then you realize, although he won, 9 straight titles? The Wizard of Westwood? They didn't play as many games per season. He didn't coach as many years as you think he did. It's just incredible, that list of who's on and who's not. I was looking up. I was trying to remember the guy that coached. Remember all those years at Mount St. Mary's? And I couldn't remember his name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's Jim Phelan. I don't know if you remember Jim Phelan. He's like 22nd on the list. Big House Gaines, Clarence Gaines, who was at Winston-Salem State, where my all-time favorite player, Earl the Pearl Monroe, played at. He's on that list as well. But again, a couple of those are very, very surprising.
Got a text on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. It says, rank this year's Final Four head coaches 1 to 4 on who you trust the most. Well, we talked about this a little bit the other day. I would Kelvin Sampson would be definitely number 1, followed by Pearl, and then probably Shire slightly ahead of Golden.
See, I go with that same order. Now, maybe look, Golden's obviously a really good coach. He got the job at Florida because he was really good at San Francisco. Shire, the air replacement to Mike Krzyzewski, so giving him the keys to that car, they had a lot of faith in him. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm downplaying those guys, but I'm going to go with the veterans. I'm going to go with Sampson, and I'm going to go with Pearl. Doesn't mean their teams will win, but that's the lean for me. That's the lean. But right now, the way Shire's got Duke playing, they seem unbeatable. I'm hoping they get beat. Not that I'm anti-Duke, even though for years it was Maryland battling Duke and North Carolina and others in the ACC. It's because I picked Houston. I knew that everybody would pick Duke, Florida, Auburn, and I'm like, maybe I could sneak in and win the office pool with Houston. Well, I've lost too many games probably along the way to even win if Houston wins, but it'll be close. But I don't know. Is this the year they added offense to their defense? And for coaches who are having problems with defense, and I know it's about the players, it's about the Jimmies and Joes, but just look at Sampson. Look at the way he coaches defense. That's where I would learn how to play defense, is by watching Kelvin Sampson. I don't know if there's the Fred McGriff, Kelvin Sampson instructional tape, but that's what I would do, what he's doing. And so he's gotten those type of athletes. But now he's getting athletes that not only can play defense, but they also can make shots. And that's why I think they have a chance. Real quick, wanted to get to this, and then we'll take a break, and Brandon will join us, get his thoughts on the national semifinals, who he thinks will be playing for the big enchilada on Monday. The PGA Tour has rejected, now this news came down yesterday, has rejected the PIF's most recent offer to invest $1.5 billion into PGA Tour Enterprises, the tour's for-profit entity, which came with the caveat that the rival Live Golf League would remain intact. So they were going to infuse $1.5 billion into basically the tour. And the PGA Tour and their talking heads decided to say no to it for two main reasons. One is they wanted to squash the Live. They didn't want any more Live out there. And the PIF people wanted Live still to survive in one way or another, to have that tour still out there. And then the other one was to have their guy, who I forget who he was, I don't know his name, the Sheik or whatever, like really pretty much run the show. If not be the one guy, the number two guy in the whole entity. So, Eli, they're not any closer to coming to a conclusion. I was reading Bob Herrick's story, and basically they say it continues to be, it continues to really disrupt the whole golf world in the sense that everybody's not all in. So it's kind of splintered still, because there are people that support those players that took the money and went to Live. It's a minority. The majority is still with the PGA Tour. And then you have guys that are coming to the end of their current contracts with Live that may not be happy. And Brooks Koepka was vocal about it the other day, saying that maybe it wasn't everything he thought that would be promised. Well, the money was promised, and he's got the money. But could there be a possibility that the big names, or at least some of them, decide that can still play? Not some of these guys that are, the Phil Mickelsons and all that, but can actually go back on tour and compete, and they decide not to re-up with Live if they're offered. And then the Live goes out and tries to grab some more of these players, some of the up-and-comers, and who knows if they have to settle for some no-names that we've never heard of from the Asian Tour, from the DP Tour. I don't know, but this is certainly not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's the PGA Tour obviously doesn't want that around. I don't know if those players, if they, whatever, with their contracts up with Live, if the PGA Tour would welcome any of them back or not.
Right.
I have no idea how any of that would work, but But yeah, doesn't look like it's changing anytime soon.
Well, Monday we will have the man, Steve Sands, will be joining us from Augusta National. We'll talk to him about that and obviously his thoughts on the Masters next week from the Mecca, Augusta National Golf Course. When we come back, the man himself, Brandon Lang, another man himself. He will be joining us to break down the Final Four, what he expects in the national semis tomorrow, and who he thinks will be cutting down the nets on Monday. He is next when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South. The size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for a limited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always ship with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Showboats fans, the boats are back in action with a 1:30 kickoff on Saturday, April 12th at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium as they take on the Houston Roughnecks in a special Memphis wrestling-themed game, the Showboats Showdown. Come see all the football action of the UFL and enjoy wrestling matches pregame and a special halftime main event. More football, more wrestling, more Showboats. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
Wally Hatchet serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelet, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf, or one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a little bit slow trying to get out of Collierville, headed towards Memphis from the earlier crash on 385 Billmorris Parkway going westbound. Again, they crashed just west of Collierville as it picks up a little bit more volume on 40 West over here at Germantown Parkway all the way down to Sycamore View Road. A Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them this weekend. Shop local. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The women's Final Four, the national semis tonight from Tampa. Interesting that the two cities that are hosting the men's and women's Final Fours respectively are two cities that have American Conference teams, UTSA in San Antonio and South Florida in Tampa. You have Texas and South Carolina, a battle of one seed, South Carolina and Dawn Staley, 5.5-point favorites, the defending champions. And then you have UCLA, a 1, UConn, a 2. UCLA is the overall number 1 seed in this tournament, yet UConn is a 7.5-point favorite. Is that Vegas just having the faith in Oriema? Where they think all the money's going to go toward UConn? What's up with that? 7.5? Is there a player that's hurt that I don't know about? I mean, Juju Watkins went down for USC, and they lost to Connecticut. But this is UCLA.
I have no idea.
Anyway, if you dare gamble on that, I mean, there's a lot of unpredictability to a certain extent with women's basketball. Usually when you get down to the Elite Eight, Final Four, it's the best teams always, year after year after year. South Carolina reminds me of Florida men in this way. South Carolina could have easily lost their last 2 games, their last 2 games, right? Both games were close. They pulled it out. Florida, their last 2 games. Now, the Maryland game ended up being they pulled away at the end. But the Texas Tech game, they could have easily lost one of their last 2 games. But they survived. A lot of times, national champions have a game or 2 and really have to fight tooth and nail to win, to advance to get to that position. So, I don't know. South Carolina, battle-tested. They don't seem like they're the best team. But Dawn Staley is a great coach, and you never know. And, of course, Oriema is Oriema the greatest women's coach, or do they consider Pat Summitt or somebody else? I mean, this guy and what he has done at Connecticut, that is a factory up there. Still waiting on Brandon Lang to join us here on the program. So I mentioned the American Conference, the 2 cities by happenstance, I guess. UTSA in San Antonio, where the men's Final Four is, and South Florida, University of South Florida is in Tampa, where the women's Final Four is. There's going to be news coming soon on which city is going to be awarded the men's and women's tournaments for next year. Could be one site, could be 2 separate sites. If Memphis is going to win the bid, they only made a bid on the men. But we're going to find out very, very soon. The other thing yesterday that I saw, I think one of the...
Didn't he originally say they wanted to have the decision made by the Final Four?
Did he say that?
I think that's
on Tim Pernetti?
What he said.
Yeah, so maybe it's coming up. I think somebody wrote about that, maybe in the Daily Memphian. But one of the papers, Commercial Appeal or Daily Memphian, also talked about, and I knew this for a while here, but the American Conference and Tim Pernetti would like to find another conference to schedule games. Now, the Big Ten's not doing it. You're not getting it with the power conferences. I don't think you can get the Big East. The Big East does it with who right now? They have the challenge with
Big East.
Is it the Big 12?
Big 12 have
the Big 12.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I guess
ACC, SEC have their thing.
I guess there's nothing that permits you from having, being involved with 2 conferences, but you would think that those guys are out, right? The Big East, the power conferences. So if you're the American Conference and you're trying to strengthen your out-of-conference schedule, really Memphis is the only one to adhere to putting together a daunting, challenging schedule. These other teams certainly don't, and he wants them to schedule harder. So even scheduling, let's say, the Mountain West would make sense. Memphis already plays or has played teams from the Mountain West. So it says in the story that there's 3 leagues they're looking at. Okay, maybe the A10. A10's got some teams. Who would be the third? If we're not counting the power conferences, including the Big East for basketball, and let's assume Mountain West and A10 for this discussion, who would even be a third league you're talking to? Please tell me you're not talking to the MAC.
The new PAC.
Oh, gosh, no. They're not talking to the new PAC, are they?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like
no. I mean, no. You may be
the
right.
Mountain West. That's Mountain West schools. Like,
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if Pernetti wants to connect anything with that PAC. He knows that that PAC wants to steal some of his schools. You probably want to stay as far away from the pack as you can. But you're right about the pack is getting some of those Mountain West teams. So even the Mountain West isn't the Mountain West as we know. But I can't even think of there's smaller conferences like the Missouri Valley and things of that nature. But, where else are you going to go where you can find reputable opponents for all your teams? Now, your team stunk for the most part. So it's not like you guys are Duke and Houston and Auburn and Florida. And Memphis already schedules great. So you're trying to better their out-of-conference analytics, the numbers. So I don't know what leagues out there give you that opportunity from top to bottom. In fact, it may water down the Mountain West or the Pac or the A-10 playing the American teams. So I'll be curious to see what it is. But I think it's a smart move to put a couple of those or at least one game on your schedule where you're playing against a conference, have a little conference rivalry thing going, start it up. I think that's good. But they have to schedule harder, these other teams in the conference outside of Memphis, and they have to win some games. And they can't lose to the crap teams that they're playing on their schedule. There's going to be bye games. You got to fill your schedule. Even Memphis has a few of those. And they win. And some of these teams did not, including UAB, the preseason pick to win it all.
To me, if they were going to do anything with the conference, the A-10 would be the best league to do it with. Of ones you probably could do something with.
Right.
Because I think
VCU, Dayton.
They've got, they generally have some pretty good teams that are kind of bubble, they usually have a few teams at least that are on the bubble. These are teams you're competing with on the bubble year in and year out if you're going to try and get into the NCAA tournament. So I would, if you were going to do it, something full, I would say that A-10 would be the probably, I'd much rather do the A-10 than the Mountain West.
I'm not sure where Brandon is, but hopefully we'll be able to catch up with him to get his thoughts on the Final Four. A couple of other things. From the world of baseball, I mentioned there was something that took place last night that hadn't happened since 1960. The Reds lost to the Brewers 1-0. They became the first team to lose 3 consecutive 1-0 games since my Phillies did it back in May of 1960. So 65 years. No team has lost 3 straight 1-0 games.
It's actually a little surprising that's even happened. I'm surprised. I guess that's happened at all, but that seems really, really hard.
I'm with you.
To do.
I'm with you. In this day and age,
to be shut out 3 straight games, but also to only give up 1 run in all 3 of those games yourself is that's a really difficult task to pull off.
I know. I saw that. I couldn't believe that. But again, the fact that, I was more amazed at it happened to a team now, not that it happened before, back in 60, again, 65 years ago. But in this day and age, with the way they hit the ball, for 3 straight games to be shut out, with De La Cruz and some of those guys they have on the Reds team, but for any team out there, teams struggling to score runs, that really surprises me.
Is Ellie De La Cruz getting rid of the torpedo bat now since they can't score any runs?
Ooh, interesting. First game, hit a couple 400-foot home runs. Since then, goose eggs. Maybe this is hurting the manufacturers of the torpedo bat.
If this was the NBA, they would never be allowed to use anything called a torpedo bat because clearly that would be a danger to the other teams. I mean, you're clearly going to use that torpedo to blow up the other team.
Yeah, I don't think we could say crush the team now if we give a result or kill the team, beat the hell out of a team.
Adam Silver would be like, wait a second, you guys are using what now? What's that? What kind of bat? No. We will not allow torpedoes anywhere near our sport. I can't believe this is happening.
Our jargon now to talk about a game, again, instead of, the Reds killed the Brewers, the Reds crushed the Brewers. Now everything's going to be, even if it's like 11-0, we got to say nipped.
Competitively bested.
Did you guys know, I'm going way off track here, but we're going to get to a break here in a second and see if we can corral Brandon. But did you know they have competitive college dodgeball? Did you guys know this?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
I've heard of it, yeah. I don't know how many schools that play or whatever, but...
Well, they get the top 25 is out. Okay, and this isn't just like, St. Mary's of Iowa. This is big-time program. Michigan State's number 1 in the power rankings of competitive dodgeball. You have Ohio State at number 4. Some other big schools, Virginia at 11. Illinois at 13. Maryland, my alma mater, I had no idea, 14th. Penn State, 15th. Nebraska, 16th. There's small schools in here as well. How about Ole Miss? Did you know they had a dodgeball team? They're number 25.
I did not know they had a dodgeball team, no.
What do you have to do? You have to dodge, duck, dive. What's the saying from Dodgeball, the movie? Elijah, please tell me you've seen Dodgeball.
I have, but it slips my mind.
It's
dodge,
Patches,
duck. Patches O'Houlihan.
O'Houlihan, yeah.
Dodge, dive, duck, dart, and
dodge again.
And
right?
dodge again. Is it dart?
I think that's one of them.
I think it's dodge, dive, duck, dart, and dodge again.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know if people have the sense of humor I have, but just the writer to throw in dodge twice. Is it dodge that's twice? Just to throw in a second one is great writing to me. That's just funny.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Now, there you go. How about that? He's throwing wrenches at his players. I mean, come on, man. Did they suspend Patches? No. He wasn't. And he was actually throwing. He wasn't fake throwing a wrench. He was really throwing the wrench. And he wasn't suspended. Corky's Ribs
Dip.
and
It's dodge, duck, dip, dive, and then dodge. Not dip instead of dart.
Okay, well, they could have thrown...
Dart did not sound right.
Yeah, but they could have thrown dart in there and not used dodge twice. But again, the fact they used dodge twice just cracks me up. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, nothing to laugh about here. Just big smiles on your face from that delicious slow smoke barbecue. They've been making it for 4 decades. They've been catering that entire time. You got to get together for the Final Four, for the Natty on Monday, to watch the Masters, any big sporting event or any event of any type, Corky's is for you. Now, in that case, smaller party, pick up party packs that start at just $7.49. But if you have a big event going on, family reunion, or how about a company that's having a big picnic for their employees, have Corky's cater the event. They'll come to you. They'll set it all up. They'll take it all down. It's that easy. They'll start you out as low as $7.99 per person for that delicious slow smoke barbecue. They have lunch specials every day. You can add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase an entree for lunch or dinner. Maybe go barbecue sandwich. You can go award-winning catfish plate, tamales, and then get those ribs, again, a third of a rack for $7.99. Located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. All right, we'll go on a Lang search. We'll be back with our final segment. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
What happens to former real estate agents when they want to sell their homes? This is Sheldon Rosenberg, Ashley Shell Dunn, with Mark Spencer Realtors. I am so proud and feel so honored that former real estate agents contact me when they want to sell their homes. They know that I've been in the business for quite a while, have a great deal of experience, and know that I am good at marketing. Not merely putting a sign in the yard and making it sales. Over the years, I have developed a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and win. Talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure that I am one of them. So if you or somebody that is thinking about selling a home, remember what other real estate agents have been in business with. Then call me, Sheldon Rosenberg, at 430-546, or email me at
Barbecue.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and the staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I pluck mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It is too. I am not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that April is just one of the great months to sit outside at Central Barbecue.
I didn't say there weren't other great months to sit outside at Central Barbecue locations.
And there are a lot of them, and they all have outdoor seating.
I don't think you had to interrupt me for that. What I'm saying is April is particularly great because it's the first month where we can sit outside in Memphis.
In South Haven?
Stop interrupting me. I was going to say South Haven.
No, you weren't. You always forget about South Haven.
I resent that.
Hey, I produce these. You want me to back the tape up?
No. It's still the best month to sit outside at Central Barbecue.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56. This hour brought to you by James Floors and once again by Greg Gaston.
So I got a text from somebody. They texted the conference rankings outside of the Big Five, and I don't know whose rankings these are or whatever, what these come from. But they have the Mountain West at 6, Atlantic 10 at 7, Conference USA 8, West Coast 9, Missouri Valley at 10th, and then the American at 11th for this year. And they say that any one of those ranked between 6 and 10 would make sense for the AAC to schedule, especially 6 through 8.
But it's all changing.
Yeah, again, the Mountain West is not going to be. The Mountain West is losing a lot when you're talking about basketball. I mean, again, right, the new Pac whatever, if you could get something done with them in basketball, that would be the best by far.
Well, okay, so the WCC is losing Gonzaga and St. Mary's, or just Gonzaga?
I think just Gonzaga. I don't think St. Mary's is part of that.
But St. Mary's with Santa Clara and that's
the new Pac-12 is going to have Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Gonzaga, Oregon State, San Diego State, Utah State, and Washington State.
Right.
I mean, like in basketball, that's way better than any of those other conferences.
No, it's the best. It's just Memphis was one of the teams that was invited to the conference. They said no, and understandably so. And I don't know if Pernetti wants to have them play those teams out there. And again, you're going out there to the area and you're getting more maybe accustomed to going, yeah, we could fit into this conference if the money's right. Remember, we're supposed to hear, it was, I forget the report that we had earlier in the week from John, what's his name out in Oregon?
Manzano.
Yes, about he believes that in the next couple of weeks they'll announce their media rights package in the Pac. But again, I think if I'm Tim Pernetti, I probably want to keep Memphis and South Florida and Tulane probably away from those teams. But yes, I think that would be the best. The WCC, you lose Gonzaga. I mean, I don't know. St. Mary's, that's pretty much it. What else do you say? The Conference USA? No. Your old conference? I don't see that one. The
Mountain West, I mean, of the teams that are going to have remaining, I mean, UNLV and New Mexico are about it.
That's it. What's Conference USA got?
Nevada's had has been good in basketball at times, so they would be all right. But other than that, there's not much there as far as the Mountain West is concerned with what's remaining after those that are leaving for the Pac-12. So
what's Conference USA got now? Southern Miss, Middle Tennessee State. You know, if you play that one, and I know it was a horrible year for the American outside of Memphis, but if you're not as good or better in that conference, man, that's an issue. I think the one that matches up well is A-10. A-10's got some teams. But yes, the answer is Mountain West, but now the Mountain West will not be the Mountain West. It'll be a shell of what it was. It would be the Pac, but again, do you associate yourself with the Pac if you're Tim Pernetti, when you know that the Pac's going after some of your schools? By the way, with Brandon Lang, did he ever text back?
He just texted back. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to try and call in here with these last 5 minutes or not.
Well, if we get him, we'll get his picks. If not, you're on your own. That's all I could say. But yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense, again, to have a league that you go up against, have a little, what do we have, 12? How many teams are in the American? 12?
It is for basketball, I believe. I guess it would be 11. I believe it is.
Okay, just the matchup with another conference to have that's a little fun. I mean, it's certainly not the Big East and the Big 12 or the ACC and the Big 10 or whatever. Whoever's playing each other in those power conferences. It would be nice if the Big East said, we'll have the rivalry games with the Big 12, and then we'll also have the rivalries with the American. But that's not going to happen. The Big East right now, even some of those teams at the bottom, I think would clobber some of the American Conference teams. Most of them. At least right now, what we saw this past year. The only team that had, outside of Memphis, pretty consistent, good play, solid play was North Texas. UAB, all those non-conference losses they had to some inferior opponents, they were a big disappointment. And then
13 for basketball, by the way.
13, okay. And then some of those other teams, Wichita State and Tulane, these are teams that could all improve and have to improve. So we'll see with Tim Pernetti. We only have a few minutes, but throw it up there. It's time for Brandon Lang.
It's time to handicap this week's action. Joining Greg and Eli is sports handicapper Brandon Lang, subject of the movie Two for the Money.
I mean, I was absolutely nauseous and ready to really talk to the TV, track him down with a yellow whistle ball bat, just couldn't have beaten us.
Get Brandon's plays at BrandonLang.com.
Yeah, Nicholson, but then you walked on that wall. You really on that wall. Oath and honor. Who's going to do that? Super put in a battery.
Also listen to Brandon's betting analysis on the Believe Podcast Network.
Not going to last very long in the NFL. Some people say he will be out in the league for 3 years. I guarantee if you heard it here first, he will be gone. I don't know what his dad does for a living, but whatever his dad does, he'll go in the family bit now.
Here's Brandon with Greg and Eli.
Mama always said a little Lang is better than no Lang at all. He's Brandon Lang. His podcast is Two for Your Money, the Believe Podcast Network. And then, of course, the show Cappers on the Pluto Network. BrandonLang.com, the website. We got 3 big old minutes, Brandon. How are you? What do you think on Saturday?
You guys just drove a par 4-1 and 6-putted by wasting any time playing the intro.
Yeah, but I thought you would be upset if you didn't.
You are correct,
I
Brandon.
thought you would be upset.
No, that was you made quadruple bogey after driving the green, put it in the bunker,
right,
sold it in
okay.
the water, 1 drop. Lord have mercy.
All righty,
Anyway,
I get it. All
so
right.
had Tennessee Chattanooga last night. Had Tennessee Chattanooga on Tuesday. Houston Cougars on Sunday. So we've hit 4 straight in college football basketball. So I'm a little bit of a heater. And so we go into Saturday, and listen, I don't care what anybody says. Auburn can't beat Florida. They don't match up with them.
Really?
You know, I remember watching the game when Florida went into Auburn, beat them 90-81. They just don't match up. The guard play of Florida is a great matchup. Look at Michigan had Auburn down double digits. Michigan State, who didn't match up with them, hung in there. Michigan State basically has nowhere near the talent that Florida has offensively, and still stood toe-to-toe with them and couldn't go away. It's been a great year for Auburn, but the bigs of Florida give room trouble, and I just think Florida's the better team. I was saying, if you can go into their house and beat them by more than 5, they can't beat you on a neutral floor. I think if these teams play 10 times, Florida wins 8. I just think Florida's the better team.
Okay.
And as poorly as they played against UConn, they still got up 8 with 41 seconds to go. As poorly as they played against Texas Tech, they still got up 5 with 12 seconds to go when the kid for Tech decides to take a layup instead of shooting the 3, and you still had just a little crisp chance of a cover. So I just think Florida's the right side of the game.
All right, they cover, right? They cover the 2.5, not just Florida money
I believe
line.
so.
Okay, and
Yep.
then we got about a minute and a half. Let's get to the other one.
Listen, Houston was great to me on Sunday, and to watch them hold Tennessee to 50. And it's so hard to go against them. It just is. And what's funny is I think your Duke Houston winner's your national champ. I think Florida can beat Duke. I don't. Duke's too good defensively. And in this game, I'm almost inclined just to take, not a game I love, but I'm inclined to take Houston plus the points just with how good they are defensively. The only thing that scares me is if Houston goes into one of their droughts. They did it against Purdue, gave up an 8-0 run late, gave up a 10-point lead. They allowed Tennessee to get back within 10. Tennessee had the ball, had a chance to cut it to 8. Could have got a little dicey there, and then they hit the big threes and pulled away. I just think Houston physically, Houston the way they play defense, can make this a slugfest. But every time you go against Duke, they cover a number. I think they've won every one of their wins this year have been by 5 points or more.
All right, so take the points with Houston. Duke straight up, though, money line. Houston's getting 5.5. And then on Monday, you like Duke. Real quick, what do you think the lines will be if Duke takes care of Houston against the 2 teams, either Florida or Auburn? What do you think the lines will be?
Duke will be 4.
Either
over
way?
Florida. Either way.
How about Auburn?
Duke will be Duke will be 3.5 against Florida, 5 against Auburn.
All right.
I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. I think Florida will get respect by beating Auburn. Duke will be laying 3.5. I think against Auburn, Duke will be laying 5.
Hey, brother, thank you for a great year. Thank you for to get on here for just a few moments, but we appreciate your input as always. Enjoy the games. We'll talk soon.
We're coming down, Ellen and I, for a playoff game. Already been invited. Eli knows about it, so I'll give you.
We hope there's a playoff series.
We hope there is a playoff game.
Well, that's true. That's true. Good one last night, though. But I don't know about the gun signal again. But who knows?
Root them on. We want to see you guys back in Memphis. Thanks, Brandon.
Got it. All right,
Take care.
By the way, Duke is a 4.5-point favorite against Florida. They are a 6.5-point favorite against Auburn. Houston is 1.5 against Auburn, and Florida is 1.5 against Houston.
Okay, we'll see what happens. We will talk about the national championship game. We'll preview it on Monday when we join you starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Matt Reiser will join us for the Tiger Baseball segment, and Steve Sands on the Masters. Our thanks to John Varlas, to Brevin Knight, and to Brandon Lang for joining us on the program today. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next for Eli Savoy and for Elijah Seegers. I'm Greg Gaston. Thanks, folks, for listening. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7